everybody, welcome back to Pet Simulator Z. Hello everybody. Just gonna quickly send the private server link in the chat just so you guys can join us. And join me at least. Okay. There you go, guys, in chat. Come and join me. Okay, let's see. What should we do? I'm gonna quickly listen to something.
They zap away until she passes out. After Suarez leaves, Harley makes her move. She whips out some jujitsu and realigns his man's neck. Now armed, she easily dispatches a few more guards. Ooh, another gun. Akimbo activated. Harley proceeds to 360 trick shot a whole slew of bad guys. I guess she's got aimbot too. As she continues her escape, we witness her diverse range of skills. She's really out here killing dudes with her dress. Then, she doubles up on assault rifles and goes to town. Hey, the javelin. She gleefully grabs it and goes full ninja mode while doing parkour. It looks like someone turned the family-friendly filter on. Reminds me of something. At last, freedom. Harley hops in a taxi and then spots the squad. They had a whole rescue mission planned. Surprise! Oh, she said she won their little mission.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
Nah, it's time for the final boss. The squad lays down the law to Thinker. Disobey us, you die. Give us the wrong info. You get the idea.
If you cough with that covering your mouth.
The squad pulls up. It has an epic slow-mo walk through the rain before the fun begins. The crew slices and dices, and King Shark shows us what he's got.
Shark, Paw.
With the help of Thinker, they make it past the retinal scanner, close the doors, and get to work planting bombs. Aw, King Shark made his look like Peacemaker.
It's actually pretty nice.
Meanwhile, Presidente Suarez receives an alert about about the squad. Anyway, Rick, Cleo, and Thinker take the elevator down to the building's third
Okay,
level.
you might as well take the, eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by its tail. If it hollers, let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Like it? If you get the cat. So there.
But it's true. It was the Americans who found the creature after all. They believed it could be harnessed for military purposes, but didn't want all the unethical testing happening on U.S. soil. So, they hired Thinker and sent him off to Cordo Maltese to do his research. And now, just because of a stupid military takeover, 30 years of research is about to be blown up. Suddenly, Peacemaker arrives, a little earlier than he should. And now enraged Rick wishes to salvage the research and go public with it. But Peacemaker gets in the way. Don't tell me you're her puppet. Indeed he is. Amanda always has a plan B. Just as things are about to turn deadly, the bombs go off early. The dueling pair is trapped beneath the rubble as an opening for sorrow emerges. The creature seizes the opportunity and snatches on Thinker. I think 30 years is enough waiting for some much-needed revenge. Back to Rick and Peacemaker. A back-and-forth battle ensues. Both men beat on each other, but Peacemaker gains the upper hand. Until he loses it, Rick seeks to finish him off, but then Peace clutches. With his final words, Rick states, Peacemaker.
I think that's all.
Carl spots the drive and runs off with it. The Peacemaker catches up. He overpowers her and prepares to wrap up the final loose end. Hold on, let's flash back to 8 minutes ago. Robert, King Shark, Polka.
Okay.
Shark wanders off to an aquarium and makes some friends while the others head into an office. Polka stumbles and drops some bombs and suddenly... No!
Rain crab, okay.
You know, that guy that drove you into the city? Out of nowhere, some more guards pull up and Polka kinda accidentally blows it. The aquarium shatters, flooding the office.
Golden rave crabs, okay.
He falls down the building, gets a light massage, and has a snap, while the others barely hang on for dear life. Robert falls, but then takes a ride on the world's most
Tony,
destructive
okay.
elevator. This is awkward. Hey, remember that scene they teased in the beginning of the movie? Oh, hell yeah. Robert takes a drive, free and receives a warm welcome from the army. The creature responds by sending his little friends down to say hello. Mom, even the starfish don't like King Shark. And there goes Presidente Suarez. Congratulations, you're the new president. Just kidding, we don't like dictators. Apparently, along with Jotunheim, the signal jammers were blown up. Amanda reaches out and informs the team that their mission is over. The records have been destroyed, so they can go home now. Robert says nah, and one by one, everyone joins him to fight the monster.
Look at him carrying the Devlin for.
An infuriated Amanda prepares to blow them all up. The co-workers take control and give the squad intel to aid them on their mission. The team faces off against the final boss and has a little Avengers moment as Robert directs his teammates across the battlefield. Even Polka has a shining moment when Robert tells him the monster is his mother. Damn, what an absolute unit she is. Let's go! I'm a superhero!
I was just rejoining for a sec.
Robert is overrun by Starro's minions.
Lag.
She's about to get clapped, but Robert summons the last of his energy to save her. Then, she calls upon her rat army and states, "This city is not yours, and it's not ours. It's theirs." Millions of rats surface and attack Starro like an ant swarm. As they engulf its body, the creature squirms in agony. Suddenly, Harley goes in for a critical strike. She has a little swim in the creature's eye, while the rats dive in and start gnawing away at its insides. Not long after, the creature succumbs to its wounds and our misguided heroes emerge victorious. Amanda reawakens from the Shadow Realm and has a chat with Robert. He shares that he uploaded the drive to a secure server, strong-arming Amanda into letting the squad go free. As the movie ends, we see that Robert has, for the most part, overcome his fear of rats. Oh, also, Weasel is still alive. And so is Rick. See, boys, if he can recover from a broken heart, and so can you. And with that, I bid you adieu. These poor men have the worst bosses in the world, but they're finally gonna get revenge. And as far as this guy, well, I don't really know what he's complaining about. We start things off with Nick clocking into work while telling us about his hard-working, beloved grandmother. You see, she came here with just $2 to her name, and through hard work and taking no crap from anybody, that $2 became $2,000 by the time she died.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, true. That's about the cost of an ambulance ride in the US. Nick reflects that though his grandma had the right intentions, she ultimately got one part wrong. To get ahead in life, you gotta be willing to take crap, which Nick would be okay with if it wasn't for his boss, Dave. He calls him into his office and notes that despite work starting at 6, Nick seems to have been 2 minutes late. Now, I know you're a professional, punctual guy, Nick,
Now, I was
so
watching
there must be
the
something wrong
video
with our
of the
security system.
Pexelmator thieving.
I might have been a minute late. Without skipping a beat, Dave reaches for the phone and prepares to fire their security guy. Wait, no. Well, you were 2 minutes late, so you're either lying or the system was off, Nick.
I was lying.
That was an emotional roller coaster. Now, onto something perhaps even more unpleasant. Meet Dale, a man who is soon to be married. May God have mercy. He's a dentist, or rather a dentist assistant. It's basically the same thing, except
A lot less money.
suddenly his boss Julia starts making some small talk that quickly becomes inappropriate.
I bet you're no shrimp in the
Okay, Julia, come on.
What a total nightmare. Tragic stuff. That's sarcasm, by the way. Last but not least, we cut to our final musketeer, Kurt, and his job is downright pleasant. He gets along with everyone like it's one big family. In fact, it's such a dream job that even the FedEx girl is, well, royalty. And the final cherry on top
Wait, what?
is this man right here, Jack, Kurt's boss. Apparently, he's the sweetest, nicest guy he's ever known. This is by all accounts a paradise, aside from one little detail.
Wait,
Speak of the devil, that's Jack's son, Bobby, who was just
No.
holding up the bathroom from pregnant Marge to take in all the aromas. Weird. He gets into a little back and forth with his dad about the effort he's putting in before calling Kurt a...
who's risen?
Back to Nick, he's once again questioned by Dave.
What?
I know you've been eyeing that senior vice president of sales promotion, but I just don't know if I can trust you. You can trust me.
Now you sound like my wife.
You can trust me, honey. Nothing's happening behind your back.
Okay, the trust issues make sense now. Dave offers Nick a drink, to which he declines. In the morning, sir? What's wrong with a man enjoying a morning drink, Nick? Feeling pressured, he gives in. Dave hands him a big old glass, but has none for himself.
Nick, it's 8:15 in the morning. I'm now an alcoholic.
Got his ass. Nick puts the glass down and states that he only took it thinking Dave would follow suit. This prompts Dave to hit him with the old, "If I jumped off of a cliff, would you do it too, Nick?" But in a more creative manner.
If I was gonna put my balls in honey and shaved coconut, you do that too?
Oddly specific, but okay. Before defeated Nick departs, Dave insists he...
Wait. What the... I'm setting this to Preston. How? Who's this Roblox 22 kid dude? Wait, what is the, wait, I forgot small games for a second.
Are you tired of Pet Simulator?
Okay. I'm just super confused why I have this. How do I have this? Okay. Now let's see if I have the precision in the codes here. I think it's in Spooky. Okay, Pet Simulator Z. It would be actually the Pet Simulator Z Discord. Partner content. See, I'm not a partner, so
Hey guys, welcome back to another in my Discord. And below, and also.
another video. Today Pet Simulator Z just released a new code. It is very overpowered. Anyways, before we start, like and subscribe if you're a gang. Okay, so here's the code.
No!
Oh, what?
Wrong thing. Well, merch codes.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today Pet Simulator.
If this works, then I got permission. Yep. So it's just a glitch. The Pet Simulator, unless it's not a glitch. Okay, so I just want to test something. Is it this? Yeah, Dark Matter Pets. Okay, so we'll just buy a lot of that. Okay, no. So what can I do? Also, oh wait, yo, do you do any giveaways? If I know Pet Simulator X? Yeah, yeah, hello. I do not got, permissions, and, I do play normal Pet Simulator X. Oh yeah, you got clicked by. Hello. I'm just gonna buy this out. I need to start redeeming codes. So there's code called, there's a video free OMG .gg/small games gg/small games. OMG, oh yeah, 250k, 250k, we also got, merch codes, hello Scooter Plays, what's another one? Where's the codes? Game codes, okay, we'll try that. I'm just trying to remember the other codes. We got, oh yeah, join smallgames.gg. It's Size.gg. Okay, I don't. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, you can't see the merchant? Oh, that's really strange. Oh, now the merchant works for him, I think. Yeah, it does now. Now, what else? What else? I also got, not Preston in a Discord. Like, so, I guess, cause, not Preston was in my chat sometimes, so I guess maybe if he's in my chat today, maybe we can ask him some questions. So yeah, that also could be a possibility. We could also ask him some questions. I guess you could send some in chat, maybe if he comes in, because he did come in one of the times that I live streamed Pet Simulator Z coming back, because I got him in Discord and one of my friends know him, so it was pretty fun when he was in my Discord. And he was also in my chat, so that was pretty cool. I don't know this discord.gg/smallgame thing. Yeah, I have like no clue how you do that code right. I think I did every single one but whoa. So I think I did GG/smallband, smallband, Nikki, discord.gg/smallcase. I don't know if that works. 2no codes, OMG Daddy, DevX moment. Yeah, I think everything but the discord.gg. I don't know how that one works. Here, let me check with like bot. How do we make it so it's in that style? Here, I'll try that. So Discord, paste discord.gg/small games again. Nope, just that one code doesn't work. Okay, guys. You got everything then? You got a huge brownie. Right in my face, of course. So, I'm gonna guess you guys are from my chat. Car. Yes, customized. Okay, white. I actually like that. I feel like I would like black more though. Will look better black. But what? We'll change the poll and we'll change it to what you guys want my hoverboard color to be. People think it turns red. Okay. I guess the like button turns red. Okay. Okay, we're gonna ask a new question. What color do I make my I think yellow, green. Here, we'll put my favorite out of all of these. So we got guys got 4. We got 4 options. You guys got this thing. So you got black, white, red, or let's do blue. You guys go vote. Wait. So yeah. What do you guys think my hoverboard color should be? Black? Now you got one on black. To the car. Why do I feel like Small Game just like did it for me? It's something I would love. Let's go to the settings. It should be at the bottom of the page. Unless I forget, then yeah. I might just actually be telling you lies because I forgot. If I am, then sorry. Wait, in reality, you could make the OG hoverboard, but it's faster. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's only equip my huge pets. Do you want my huges? Here's my huge pets. Wait, no, wait, there's more. We got Ghost, and then we got I'm missing one more. Yeah, Enchanted Teacher. I think I'm good. Sorry. Oh, my car failed for a second. Why is my car failing? Okay. At least it's moving now. Okay, so all we need to use is, let's try to get the most pets in the entire game. Chat. I need 15 all OP pets and huge pets. Chat, I'm gonna give away some pets to you guys. I don't care really. I'm trading you, chat. Take my pets. Take him, chat. You accepted the trade. Huge cupcake. Oh. My guy. Oh. Oh, I don't really need the Pixel Wolf. But yo. Yo. I don't need the Pixel Wolf. Yo! I hope this is legal in some country. Yo! Hey, thank you, Ray. So I think this pet's... So you got 15 of these pets. How much power does this one do? Yep, they're way better than these pets, so I'll just delete all of them. Chat, we're gonna try and be the richest player, okay, chat? Yeah, you guys go buy stuff at Merchant Minions. My children. I'm trying to... why do I feel like I want to go do a Technoblade moment for a second? Is there a non-reverse Cobra you could get? Maybe. In another world. Can't be in this one. Impossible to be in this one. Maybe be a millionaire. No, not in this world. Impossible. It must be in another dimension. No. I've opened like 50 eggs. Game. What do you want from me? I'm not meant to have triple eggs. Oh, suck. Wait, how many have I gotten? I only gotten a good amount. I'm gonna stop here before I get too ahead of myself. I'm gonna get rid of the huge pets. Huge pet! Bro. I get none of the benefits because it's not as good as a huge pet. Holy! Bro. Done. Wait, guys, chat. Give me 1 second. Just gotta quickly, like, turn on my boost. Don't worry, it's only gonna last, like, 500 hours or something. Those are, like, easy numbers. Yeah. So it's gonna be like 500 days, maybe a little bit more. Oh, hello, killer. you clipped. Hey! Thanks. Oh, oh, oh. My man is generous at max. Bro. You actually need that chat. Why do I feel like someone's taking it from me, chat? Bro. So we're gonna make I don't really care if it fails or not. I got like super lucky for like days. I could probably even do one and do it. Okay, never mind. Only free and do it. Right. Okay, and Glacier. Let's quickly use the mine before I keep going and get ahead of myself. Yo, clips. Hey! Thank you, my G. He's the only one that's really helping the army. Thanks for helping the army. Army. I'm calling it an army now. We gotten too far into this. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8 reverse. Then we turn it into dark matter. That's going to not be that much. But once we turn that into dark matter, it's only going to make 8, so. It's only going to make 8, so. We're only going to probably get like 2 ghosts. That's only going to be a few trillion, maybe even more than a trillion. So I think it 10 times it or something. About almost 10 times. Okay, there we go. How much is it? $378, about that much. Okay, I'm coming back, Spawn World. Alright, I'm now going to start making some ghost ones. So they're basically just the normal one. I'm just confused how he doesn't have VIP, because you're 88? 63% for only 2? Well, I actually hit 4. Okay, so that's a good amount. So we got that. So that's only free. So huge pet. Massive festive cat. Yes. Need the massive pets. The cooler they look, the better they are. So we got right now. What else do we need to buy? Ray doesn't really supply so okay. Only got one. One only. Okay, so red huge panda, not worth it, but at the end we'll need it. So we just need to get a lot of cobras. That's the only thing we really need. I think every day worth is about how much boost? 69. Hey, we got 74, 75, 76, 77. I think we really got enough for 78, yep. So 9, 80, 81, 82, and then the 83, and then the 84, and then maybe the 85 comes right now, and 86, if he was cool he would come, and 87, I know it likes 87, 88 and 89 are going to be a little bit more difficult, but we got 89 no matter what. Okay, what do you want me? What do you want, Ray? Massive festive cat. Massive festive cat. Bro. Who is logging the server? one that's lagging server. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm restarting the server. Hello, I'm subscribing and a big fan. Game link. You guys want the game link? Oh yeah, you guys want the game link? Well, we're gonna restart the server anyways. So, yeah. If you guys want to join, give me a second. Sorry, it's just the server's really laggy. And I'll regenerate the private server link. There you go, guys. There's the server. Server's lagging, so yeah. Hello, I'm subscribed and a big fan. Thank you. Bro, game link. Just send it. So yeah. Guys should be able to join. This is really lagging. Sorry. Yeah.
Sign up as an Expedia member, earn points on top of your airline miles, and see more of the world's bubbles.
Imagine waking up, finding guns bolted to your hands, and being forced to fight for your life. Meet Miles. Wait a second. Anyway, he's a bit of a nobody, and like the rest of us, wanted to be a hero when he grew up. Well, actually, these days I think most kids want to grow up to be TikTokers. Terrifying. Also like the rest of us, he spends most of his time hopping between the same 3 apps. What are your favorites? I like Discord, Reddit, and YouTube. Miles has the prestigious job of mobile game developer. That's right, his life's purpose is to help a company funnel money into parents' pockets.
Guys, unequip your pets when you join in, because it's gonna cause a lot of lag.
Don't be that guy. Suddenly, Miles gets shot in the face. His coworker, Hadley, has good intentions. He was just trying to warn Miles that his boss, Xander, was looming behind him. Due to being startled, he accidentally likes his ex's selfie on Instagram. Her name's Nova, by the way. Xander regretfully informs Miles that he's being let go. Damn, what a jerk. Later on, in Adder's apartment, Miles stumbles upon Schism, the latest viral sensation to hit the web. What is Schism, you ask? Well, it's basically a live-action Call of Duty deathmatch. Criminals and oddballs are recruited and pitted against each other. Their battles take place across the city and are televised via drones and hijacked cameras. Miles joins one of the live streams and starts tippy-tapping away at his keyboard. His efforts do not go unanswered, and he's quickly inundated by loving and supporting comments from the Schism community. It's not long before he gets the attention of the admin. As we'll soon learn, he's not the kind of guy you want to provoke. He gets Miles' IP, and my boy is shook. He closes the laptop and tosses it away. His panic is quickly dispelled after receiving a text from his ex, Nova. She noticed he was snooping on her Insta, but he takes advantage of the moment and invites her to meet up by the park. To his pleasant surprise, she accepts. We cut to them at the park where Nova, a comic book author, draws a temporary tattoo of one of her characters onto his arm. Then, she moves in for a kiss. Miles is rudely awakened from his dream, but the kind visitors quickly put him back to sleep. Later, Miles fades in and out of consciousness as the Schism squad operates on him. He awakens the next morning back in his room. Perhaps that too was a dream. Never mind. They turned my mans into Edward Gunhands. Miles gets a text officially welcoming him into Schism. Oh, and he gets his first opponent, Nyx. Meet Nyx. She's cute, kicks ass, and balls, and likes to eat salt through her nose. Whatever. each his own, I guess. By the way, this was one of the coolest action scenes I've seen in a while. She claims another victory, continuing to dominate the leaderboards. We learned from a news broadcast that she was found criminally insane at the age of 13 and recently escaped from a high-security prison prior to joining Schism. Nyx is informed of her new opponent, Miles. Schism promises that this is her last one. If she succeeds, they'll totally wipe her criminal record. Nyx proceeds to don a disguise. Hey, that looks familiar. With her stealthy new look, Nyx heads into a police station and remotely installs a tracker on Miles' phone. Meanwhile, Miles struggles to pee. It's hard enough as it is to keep your stream steady, but when you have guns for hands, it ups the stakes a bit. He's still got that date with Nova, so he gets dressed as best as he can. Hashtag outfit of the day. Alright, let's go. Attaboy. Oh geez, there's Nyx. So cute, but so terrifying. She blasts her way into the apartment and makes note of his figurine collection.
Nice bat cave.
With his life on the line, Miles makes one final request.
Shoot around the really rare stuff.
Then, he manages to pull together a distraction and jumps out the window. He then slides down the stairs and sticks the landing. All the meanwhile, over 300,000 people are already tuned in. Miles flees and runs into some police officers. Explaining this is going to be tricky. Things quickly escalate and he has no choice but to run. The cops make chase and one of them corners him before blasting him with a taser. Unfortunately for the cop, this causes Miles to involuntarily shoot him. He apologizes profusely before dashing out. Nyx is still hot on his trail. Finally, we're at the park. Miles quickly spots Nova, but she's already on her way out. No worries, he'll just hop right in. He commands her to drive off, but as she doesn't know what's up, she's just like, take a chill pill, my dude. Kinda hard to do when Nyx is pulling up with a bazooka, but okay, I'll try my best.
Your ooh la la center.
He composes himself, and the pair drives off. To the dismay of Richter, the head of Schism, Nyx turns the bazooka onto the drone. After driving off, Miles reveals the severity of his situation to Nova. She responds about as well as you'd expect. He runs off again before finding refuge in a clothesman. We cut to Richter and get a little taste of what kind of man he is when he harnesses his inner 50 Shades of Grey against an employee. Back to Miles, he slumps out the bin and now has a not-so-fresh pair of jeans. After failing to put them on, he briefly contemplates meeting God, but a funny hobo implores him to reconsider. You see, the angle's all wrong. If he shoots himself like that, then he's just gonna blow his face off and be even more sad. Meanwhile, Nova seeks the aid of the police. One of them, Stanton, can't help but laugh as he watches the Schism broadcast. Kinda sus. Anyway, they promise to do their best, but after she walks out, Detective DeGraves decides they ought to hack her phone. He's hell-bent on capturing Nyx, and this just might be the way to do it. We then see him consult an evidence board, where we see pictures of a family, a car accident, and Nyx. This, too, is sus. Back to Miles, we see that the hobo, who's named Glenjamin, has graciously helped him with his pants problem, and then even offered him a hot dog. Though, Miles is vegetarian. In response, Glenjamin passes on some words of wisdom.
It's one thing to say you can't face violence, but when it faces you, you better be ready.
I like that. Miles channels his inner animal and goes to town. After that delicious 8-month-old meal, he thanks Glenjamin, who then offers him a little dessert.
Wanna smoke some crack?
No, I don't. Afterwards, he heads to his office and greets Hadley. Realizing he's likely being tracked, Miles seeks his assistance. Now, if you could just slip your hands down my pocket and retrieve my phone, that'd be great. Yeah, Hadley isn't game for that.
Stick your fingers in there, come on.
Oh, now it's a party? Upon scanning the phone, Hadley finds a GPS tracker. He installs an app that will allow Miles to toggle the tracker on and off. That should come in handy. Suddenly, boss man Xander pulls up. He digs into his case and again threatens to fire him. Miles storms off, but Xander isn't letting up. Finally, Miles realizes he's a man and takes control of the situation. Xander is reduced to a whimpering, beta male, League of Legends player. He's just a joke.
Beta male, League of Legends player.
Before Xander's brains wash over his. She's back. Miles takes cover and asks Hadley to cover him. As he runs off,
Rainbow Huge Hat Cat. Come on!
war crime.
Mistakes were made.
This buys Miles enough time to hijack a car, but Nyx is hot on his trail. A high-speed chase ensues while Hadley enjoys the show during a bathroom break. Nyx catches up and somehow ends up on top of his car. This looks awfully dangerous. I hope they don't crash. Somehow, they survive this, and apparently, Nyx is a Terminator. Also, someone busts into Hadley's stall and grabs him. Mid-poop, I presume. The chase continues on foot, and Miles heads into an abandoned building. He pops some pitiful shots off at Nyx, prompting her to give him some tips on how to hold the gun. He returns the favor by shooting her, this time successfully. Some more running takes place while the pair trade shots. He manages to flank her and fires at a machine, causing it to blow up. Nyx cowers in fear as she relives a traumatic event from her childhood. Miles spares her life and again runs off. He tries to hitch a ride, but waving around his gun kinda just scares people off. Whatever, their loss. He whips out his phone and calls Nova. She picks up, and he finally gets a chance to explain to her. The guns are bolted onto him. Oh, okay, so you're not crazy. Suddenly, Nova's attacked, and it's none other than Richter. He tells him he's got 5 hours to kill Nix, or else. Miles heads to a junkyard and turns his GPS tracker back on. He calls the cops and tells them that Nix will be at his location within 10 minutes. While he waits, he runs into a couple gangs doing business. Understandably, they're a bit sketched out about his guns, and things quickly escalate. As things are about to get deadly for Miles, Nix pulls up with a freaking minigun that makes things deadly for everybody. Miles gets away and even pulls off his first kill. Then, a SWAT team pulls up on him. He's detained, and the 2 cops from earlier decide that a hospital visit can wait. They still need him to catch Nix after all. Detective DeGraves reveals to Miles that 16 years ago, he captured Richter. Though, he quickly got out on bail and tracked down his family. While his wife and son perished, he managed to save his daughter, Nix. Whoa, I didn't see that coming. Meanwhile, Nova tries to intimidate Richter by mentioning the cops, but he counters. Who do you think owns the cops? Back in the car, Stanton has driven the trio to a remote location. DeGraves questions him, but he's quick to respond. Miles is dragged out of the car, but his life is spared. Instead, he's forced to watch a video that Richter recorded, reprimanding him for going to the cops. Though, he gives Miles another chance. He now has just 30 minutes to kill Nix, or Richter's gonna tear Nova apart. Stanton leaves, and Miles takes note of the detective's bulletproof vest.
That did not help much.
He then heads to a gaming cafe and has a girl help him get into Nova's account so he can find her phone. Wait, I know you. You're the Guns Akimbo guy. Turns out, Miles has gone viral, but he ain't about that life. He heads out in search of Nova and finds her, along with the Schism Squad. Oh no! Oh, just Hadley. Okay. Miles hatches a final plan and flips his GPS tracker back on. He waits Nix and then offers a truce.
You in?
No.
All the viewers rejoice as Miles finally gets iced. Though, some are sad. They've grown to like our quirky protagonist. Nova cries, and Richter sends out a cleanup squad. While Miles' body is recovered, we notice his eyes just barely twitch. He's alive. He's transported to the Schism hideout and warmly greets his captors. He then runs into Nix, and turns out, this was the plan. We rewind back to find out what went down. Miles ended up heading back to where her father died, and revealed to her that he knew what happened to her family. That's right, Nix. It was Richter all along. He recruited her into Schism after she broke out of prison because he was afraid of her. He knew she wanted revenge, and it was only a matter of time before she learned who was behind the attack. Miles also breaks the grim news. Her dad is dead, and it too was due to Richter. After that, she needed no more convincing. Nix helped Miles put on her father's bulletproof vest, and the rest is history, or yes, the future. Back to the present, Miles and Nix take their gamer fuel and storm in. A 360 bullet storm commences as they lay waste to all the henchmen. And yes, the viewers are still tuned in. Richter is in shambles, so he sends off his best henchmen, Effie and Dane. Meanwhile, Nix shoots these guys in their happy spots. The pair then find one of the henchmen on a computer, wiping away files. He has something deadly in store for them. A spork. Upon inspecting the computer, we find that Schism has plans to go worldwide. Miles then stares down one of the cameras and speaks directly to the millions watching. You guys are sick, degenerate, losers. The audience laughs at him. Who the hell is this guy? Then, we see that even Glenjamin is watching.
Put your head more volume.
Ha, oh Glenjamin. Effie arrives on the scene and Nix compliments her guns. Then, she starts blasting. The pair gets split up when Miles is blasted in the chest, and Nix is kicked down a flight of stairs by Dane. Their battle quickly turns gruesome, and Nix loses her favorite fingers, if you know what I mean. Dane proceeds to beat her to a pulp with a...
Stop! Hammer time!
At the same time, Miles is trapped by Effie, though he manages to slip in a sneaky headshot. Back to Nix. Luck strikes when a baggie of her gamer fuel falls out. She eats it with her nose and levels up. Now, Dane is no match for her. Nix realigns his chakras, then busts his balls. Fine, I'll just blow the both of us up. Damn, if all the types have stopped working. Suddenly, Miles arrives to rescue Nix. Fortunately, they survive and continue onwards. Meanwhile, Richter is making his way to the rooftop with Nova to escape via helicopter. Quick on her feet, Nova scribbles the word roof onto the wall, while Richter fires another one of his employees. Back to our dynamic duo, Miles and Nix have perhaps bitten off more than they can chew. With the odds against them, Nix decides to make the ultimate sacrifice. Kill Richter for me, will ya? She goes on a death-defying, guns-blazing run before blowing herself up. Will be missed, gamer girl. Miles finds Nova's markings and makes it to the roof. Millions watch with bated breath as their now beloved protagonist has beaten the odds and finally faces the final boss. Okay, bit of a rough start, but I've always loved a comeback story. Miles rises and plods forward, eating shot after shot from Richter. I guess he turned God mode on. Nova comes through with an assist, and Miles pistol whips the snot out of Richter. He throws him over the ledge, but he hangs on. Before delivering the final blow, Miles gives him a going away present. That spells the end for our centric villain. The audience celebrates, and Miles bleeds out while a terrified Nova scurries away. As the film concludes, we see that Miles has taken on Nix's role of killer badass. Now that schism is spreading, he's got a lot of work to do.
Okay,
One bounty versus two of the U.S. leading bargain brand. One sheet of bounty absorbs more than two sheets of theirs. And the winner is Bounty. One and done. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Do you remember the
wait,
joy
told
of
me to
moving?
accept trade. Who tells me to accept trade? No, that wasn't to me. Of course it wasn't to me.
Some feelings we will never forget.
What if you had to spend your entire life in a bubble? Well, for Jimmy, a boy with a severely compromised immune system, that was a reality. This is his story. Straight out the womb, my boy was in a bubble. It wasn't until the age of 4 that he was allowed to go home.
So
of course, due to his condition,
let's
he
see.
couldn't go to school, so his mother became his teacher. Though she had
Hello.
awful lessons. Why did they
So
move to reservations?
Stay out of the white man's way.
Whoa, that is not cool.
4 more minutes until I end the poll. Looks like everyone wants my hoverboard to be black.
Food, and even dealt with his bubble bullies. You might be wondering how he got food in and out of his bubble. Well, the folks at NASA
Hello, hi.
They developed a decontamination unit.
Melodious.
This allowed him to
Also, thanks for the people that like the stream.
Wait, he's a soy boy. Some years pass, and Jimmy is all grown up. Then, one day, a girl moved in next door, Chloe. For Jimmy, it was love at first sight, though he was conflicted about his feelings due to his mother's teachings.
Pinocchio came out of his plastic bubble, touched the filthy little next door, and died.
That's oddly specific and relatable, Mom. Are you sure that's how it went down? Yep. Moving on. We enjoy a refreshing sight as Chloe washes her car.
Yep.
Damn, look at those moves. This gets Jimmy so excited that he, well... Talk about beating your... yeah. His mother rushes in and offers some advice. Just do what I tell your father. Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance until it goes away. I gotta try that one. Later, we spot Chloe coming home after spending some time with a group of boys. Sus. They make fun of Jimmy and his bubble boy ways before Chloe storms off and decides to pay a visit to Jimmy's house. She slowly inches up towards his room and... What the shit is going on here?
I was just playing.
Oh, I see, Jimmy. Suddenly, Chloe's necklace grabs Jimmy's attention. It's a lovely pair. Hey, wanna see my guitar? It's super duper really cool. I prefer the skin for, if you know what she means. But actually, Chloe agrees to come back tomorrow. She leaves, and Jimmy is left in a frozen state of happiness. Can't relate. While he stares off into the distance, his mother thoroughly cleans the cooties off of Jimmy's bubble. Unfortunately, she's not very supportive of his choice in friend.
Something tells me she's not the kind of friend Jesus would pick.
Nonetheless, Jimmy continues to hang with Chloe. First, he teaches her how to play guitar. Whoa, slow down, Tiger. Suddenly, all the blood rushes out of Jimmy's brain and he has to recite the Pledge of Allegiance again. Are you okay, Jimmy? Yeah. Then, they go to the beach together. Sorta. They dance, wash their hair, celebrate Halloween, and she even gives him a present.
Oh my god!
It's just like me. One night, on Chloe's 18th birthday, she sneaks in through the window and is practically begging to get in the bubble with Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy, this might just be worth your life. She makes her way into the decontamination unit, but just before she can enter, she passes out. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. Fast forward to the future and we catch Chloe going to prom with her new douchey boyfriend, Mark. She takes a trip to the bathroom while Mark lights a ciggy and gets awfully close to the bubble. So what are you guys gonna do tonight? Apparently they're gonna sing, and Mark gives us a demonstration.
Sounds like fun.
Thank you, Mark. Very cool. More time passes, and Jimmy catches Mark pestering Chloe outside his window. Come on, it's been 2 years, babe. I'm waiting until marriage, Mark. Jimmy's rather depressed, but as always, his mother is there to comfort him.
All women will leave you someday.
It's true. One day, Chloe stops by to make an announcement. Mark proposed. I'm getting married.
Goodbye.
Based.
The new Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar, built with precision engineering that lasts a lifetime.
And I feel better now.
She walks off, then the both of them can be seen thinking about life. Afterwards, Jimmy decides he's tired of sitting around and sulking. He embarks on a mission to stop Chloe from getting married to the wrong man. And he only has 3 days to travel to New York to stop her. To accomplish such a feat, he's gonna have to build his very own Iron Man suit. Like a much, much lamer one. As motivational Rocky music plays in the background, Jimmy completes his suit and takes his first steps. Way to go, champ. He makes it outside and starts running with joy. Yes, he takes plenty of stumbles, but goddammit, he's doing his best. He makes his way to a bus stop and, oh my god, is that Zach Galifianakis? The fat dude from The Hangover? Can I have an autograph?
That'd be $260.
Just kidding, that's the cost of a ride to New York, which is way outside his budget. Please, man, I gotta stop this wedding.
That's fantastic. Next in line, please.
Feeling defeated, Jimmy begins to walk home, but... oh geez, fortunately, he was protected by his near-indestructible armor. See? I told you. Iron Man. Several of the passengers run out to check on him, and they're all wearing matching outfits. Strange. I need to get to Niagara Falls by Saturday to stop Chloe from getting married. Please help. Okay? As they carry him into the bus, Zach Galifianakis looks on with the rage of 1,000 suns. In the bus, they sing and dance. Jimmy's having a blast. I guess they're a singing group of some kind. Meanwhile, at home. Back in the bus, Jimmy's receiving a very weird lesson. These passengers seem to carry some odd beliefs. So much so that Jimmy makes a realization. Wait a minute, you guys aren't singers. You're a cult. Now stranded, Jimmy wanders around the desert while his parents search for him. Fortunately, luck strikes as Jimmy runs into a biker named Slim who's in the middle of a repair. Whoa, chill my guy, I'll help you out. Meanwhile, the cult members have reached their destination. They're currently receiving the wisdom of Fabio. The chosen one is among us. Wait a second, we've seen this guy. Back to Jimmy, he fixes up the bike before sharing his story with Slim. Oh, I feel you. I've been in love too. Debbie? Danielle?
No, Wildfire.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, she was dope, but she left me for this dork who had a job and stuff. Some time elapses, and the pair have landed in Vegas. They enjoy the sights, gamble, and Jimmy even takes a ride in the crowd. It was a fun side mission, but it's time to get back to business. Jimmy tries his luck at winning a scooter and actually pulls it off. As he rides off, we see that his parents have been closing in this entire time. Saddened by his sudden departure, Slim searches for Jimmy. He ends up running into the cult, who are also in search of the chosen one. Hey, you are the jerks that left my boy behind. They drive off, and in the process, run over poor Slim's bike. Then, we cut to Jimmy's parents driving around. What in tarnation is that? Was good. Jimmy pulls back, but his parents make chase. Though, my boy gets launched into a nearby train. He passes out and awakens the next morning to find a ragtag group of circus freaks surrounding him. Is that my boy Beetlejuice? Naturally, Jimmy is quite excited and inquisitive, but his new friends tell him to keep quiet or he'll incur the wrath of the Doctor, their leader. Suddenly, the train stops and Jimmy is jettisoned out. The formidable leader
I got a new
throws him
perk.
down, but Jimmy's all laughs.
What did I do? 15. Better
Girls when
luck.
they're under 6 foot. Boys when they're under 6 foot. Anyway, Mini-Me offers Jimmy a job, but he declines, citing his mission for love. No one will love you, Bubble Boy. Take my card. What's so wrong about my bubble? Then, he yeets him. Oof, he ain't looking so good. While Jimmy walks off, the freaks follow him, declaring him their new leader. Leave me the heck alone, guys. Okay. Moving on, Jimmy gets a new whip, but this isn't gonna last him long. He needs something with a motor. In search of such an elusive vehicle, he finds himself in a bar where he spots an Indian man being harassed by a bunch of meanie pants. Soon, they turn their attention to Jimmy and question his bubble. Well, you see, I was born without any immunities. What in tarnation is that? Uh-oh, everybody begins to panic. While they storm out, they end up setting the place ablaze. Though, with the help of Push Pop, the Indian guy, he makes it out safely. Meanwhile, Jimmy's parents have found a traveling circus. His mother attempts to entice their leader with candy so she can find out where Jimmy went. Afterwards, she calls up Chloe and blames her for Jimmy's disappearance. Apparently he's on his way to your wedding in a bubble suit. Huh? Then, she hangs up before Mini-Me speaks up. You two aren't going anywhere until I find my freaks. Oh, that's right. They ran off in search of their new leader, Jimmy. Oh crap, they're here, stealing. Back to Jimmy and Push Pop. They end up running over a cow, an event that leaves Push Pop in shambles, because while in America cows are hamburgers, they're sacred in India. It's a Hindu thing. Google it. Unfortunately, Jimmy is left alone once again as Push Pop stays behind tending to the cow, though he at least leaves our boy with a parting present. Ice cream. It's his first time. Wait, stop, don't do that. You're gonna get a brain freeze. Also, this happens. Moving on, Slim has recruited his gang of bikers to help him search for our beloved Bubble Boy, and Jimmy's parents and Mini-Me have found another car. The biker gang end up running into Push Pop and have a go at his ice cream truck. Then, out of nowhere, the cult people pull up and run over their bikes. While the gang chases after them, we cut to Chloe who's getting fitted in her beautiful wedding dress. If only she knew the absolute level of chaos being carried out in her name. Let's check in with Jimmy. Looks like he's made it quite far on his own, having stumbled into another town. Though, he's about ready to fast forward the rest of the trip. How much for a ride to Niagara Falls? $500. Okay, I guess I gotta go on another side mission. Jimmy enters a club, which just so happens to be offering a $500 reward for the best dancer of the night. Convenient. Oh hey, I saw the sign about the prize.
You want $500?
Everybody erupts with excitement as Jimmy's led towards the dance floor. Whoa, wait a second. This ain't a dance floor. Jimmy proceeds to battle it out in a mud-filled arena against two professional wrestlers. Meanwhile, Jimmy's parents, the Chile gang members, and, oh no, the cult members, they're closer than I thought. They snatch Jimmy up before he has a chance to hop in his ride. Fortunately, the freaks pull up just in time to witness his kidnapping. Jimmy is held hostage and nearly gets his bubble popped, which is a lot less fun than the fruit version of that statement. Before that could happen, Jimmy's circus friends pull up in disguises. They roll him the heck out of there, but end up running into the biker gang. No, Slim, these are my friends, it's okay.
They got him brainwashed!
Shortly after, a brawl breaks out between the three groups, but amidst the chaos, Jimmy's able to hitch a ride of the old man. They drive off into the night, and of course, the usual suspects are following. Wait a second, Mini-Me, what are you up to? You little shit. In the morning, Jimmy awakens to discover that the old man drove through the night. Poggers. One problem. He's dead, I think. Jimmy tries to awaken him, but he just stares off into the distance. The situation turns deadly as they speed towards a dead end. At the last second. Now, Jimmy finds himself at a convenience store. Convenient. He uses a payphone to call Chloe, but instead gets Mark. You're a freaking weirdo, bro. You can never have Chloe. The call ends, and Jimmy reflects on the sad state of his condition while friendly cashier flashes him a smile. At wit's end, Jimmy whips out Dr. Freaks, aka Mini-Me's business card, and gives him a call. Hey doctor, it's me, Jimmy.
Jimmy!
And with that, Jimmy gives up his location to his mom. Well, now we don't need you. Poor guy. Back in the store, Jimmy clumsily grabs himself a beer before pleading with the cashier. I just found a dead guy in the car and my parents are coming to pick me up and this is the girl I love's favorite beer. Can I, borrow it, please? Yeah, sure. Wow, awfully kind of that lady. Wait a second.
Now open the safe! Chop chop!
Just outside, Jimmy sips away before his parents pull up. Then, him and his dad wait in the car while mom presumably takes a leak. I bet it was fun out there, huh, son? You know, can you imagine if Neil Armstrong went to the moon but never stepped on the surface? And with those poignant words, his dad lets him go free. Soon after, Jimmy is running from his crazy mom when a whole ass plane pulls up. It's followed by the cult members, the gang members, and the circus members. My god, I wish I was this popular. Oh wait, I am. Seriously, thanks. Anyway, you wouldn't guess who the pilot is. Yep, the based boomer. Meanwhile on the ground, Slim ends up running into Jimmy's mom.
Slim?
Wildfire?
Hey, this is awkward. Moving on. With the help of Poppy, Jimmy makes it to Niagara Falls, and he falls into the water. But that's okay. He eventually makes it to the wedding just in time. He declares his love for Chloe and emerges from his suit to share a kiss. Unfortunately, her cooties are fatal to him.
Jimmy?
Psych! Turns out that while he was born with a problem, it rectified itself a long time ago. Thanks, Mom. Could have told me that. The pair end up getting married and find themselves celebrating with all the wacky friends Jimmy made along the way. We got Push Pop, who somehow converted the occultist to Hinduism. $500 man. The circus freaks. And oh my god, what happened to his parents? And with that, Jimmy and Chloe lived happily ever after. Hey, tell your mom you love her, and don't forget to brush your teeth. See you next time. After a freak accident, this dude ends up with fragments of his phone in his brain. The result? He can watch anime just by thinking about it. Just kidding, he has cyber powers, and boy, you don't want to miss what he ends up naming his superhero alter ego. We catch our first glimpse of Tom, an unassuming nerd, who drowns out the harrowing sounds outside by playing Plants vs. Zombies. You see, his neighborhood is being terrorized by a gang. One day in class, Tom's eyes are laser focused on the object of his affection, Lucy. His mind is blank and his eyes sparkle. It's as if time has stood still and all that exists in this moment is her. Simp. Meanwhile, Lucy is oblivious to the fact that Tom has even entered the room. She's too busy drawing a picture of a pug dressed in a ninja outfit, I think. Suddenly, Professor Bumble snaps Tom out of his trance with a question. It leaves him stumped. An expression of confusion paints over him. The classroom has gone silent and every eye is upon him. Even Lucy has stopped drawing long enough to hear his answer. Turtles? The class snickers. This is geometry. Even Lucy laughs at his ridiculous response. The bell rings and Tom heads for the door. And there's Danny, who's been his best friend since kindergarten. I see you looking at her, man. Go talk to her. Tom feels the blush creeping into his cheeks as he looks over at Lucy. She catches his eye and smiles at him. then starts walking towards them. Danny nudges Tom. See? She wants you, he says before walking off. Now alone, Tom isn't sure what to do, but before he can make a decision one way or another, Lucy is right in front of him. Hey, she says. You got a minute? Tom nods, wondering if he looks as surprised as he feels. I was wondering if you could come over tonight and help me with my math homework. I'm really stuck on this problem. Aha, maybe I'm the solution. Just kidding, he didn't say that. Tom isn't this smooth. Instead, he awkwardly agrees to come over later, but just then, Eugene and his gang of goons
you got enough to be on the leaderboard.
Lucy shoos them away, a move she'll soon regret. Tom returns home and begins to unwind by watching television. His grandmother is behind him, working on her romance novel. He asks her when he should go see Lucy. She said later, but he doesn't quite know what time later is supposed to be. Truth is, he's just too nervous to make his move. His grandmother senses his hesitation, so with a sly twinkle in her eye, begins reading out loud from her novel. James looked her dead in the eye, undid his belt, and released his... And Tom is gone. Grandma knew how to get him moving. He arrives outside Lucy's apartment, but finds the door is already open. He enters, calling out for Lucy, but only hears distressing whimpers in response. They're coming from the back of the apartment. He ventures deeper inside, calling her name, and getting no response. As he looks into one room, he sees Lucy's brother laying on the ground with a bloody gash on his head. Tom makes it down the hallway to Lucy's room as the sounds get louder. As he comes close to entering, masked men emerge and point guns at him. He flees while reaching for his phone. He dials 911 and puts it up to his ear, but before he can utter a single word, bang.
Okay, so 13.
Collapses. A few days pass. When he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees is his grandmother staring at a book.
My color of the hoverboard is...
I'm not sure what this expression is supposed to convey. Then,
black.
The doctor comes in to check him and declares that all seems well.
You officially know the color of my
X-ray of his
hoverboard.
brain, which shows several fragments from his phone embedded in there. If you notice anything unusual, call us. Tom is discharged from the hospital and climbs into a taxi with his grandma. As she goes on about how happy she is that he's okay, he stares at the radio. Strangely, the display starts to flicker, as if to say, please stop staring at me, I'm just an ordinary radio. Later, Tom decides to check up on Lucy, but not before grabbing some flowers. He enters the elevator but runs into Eugene and Cass, gang members and his bullies. Though, they do press the number for Lucy's floor for him. How did they know? Eugene's mean streak quickly opens up as he spots the flowers in Tom's hand. Who are those for? Your grandma? They tease him a little bit before Eugene tells him to give Lucy a big ol' hug from him. He says this with a wry grin that makes Tom uncomfortable. Sus. In her room, Lucy's voice makes Tom feel at ease. She looks happy to see him and the flowers, but then she looks down as her eyes begin to water. Tom vows not to run away next time. Next time, he'll do something. Like what? She counters. In this moment, they both feel powerless, knowing that their attackers got away with it. Tom goes home and finds his head spinning. He can hear electronic noises buzzing from the back of his skull, and the sound of various people's phone conversations ringing through his mind. The voices become louder and louder until they are deafening in their intensity. When his grandmother sees him, she can tell that he's disoriented. She knows something is wrong and she's scared, but she doesn't know what to do about it. Tom makes it to his room and passes out. He dreams about his internet router connecting to the phones of Eugene and the other gang members before reliving the attack. After a night of terror, Tom wakes up and wonders if it was all just a dream, or if it really happened. During his first class back, Tom is still shaken up from the attack on Lucy. Plus, it's hard for him to concentrate. He can see signals from phones flying through the air like little fireflies. Then, he spots Eugene sending a video of the assault on Lucy to his buddy. With that, he snaps, using his powers to make Eugene's phone fizzle. Come on, man, like, at least make it blow up. Later that night, Tom attends a party Danny invited him to. While he sits down, he
send
recalls
the link
details
in
from the
chat
video of
one more
Lucy's
time,
attack and realizes that the people
just
who
in
beat her
case
up
if
are all
anyone
at this
wants to
party.
join.
He locks eyes with Eugene, who smirks at him sinisterly. Tom marches towards him and just stares at him. Eugene perceives this as an act of war, and things nearly get physical. Fortunately, Danny steps in and takes Tom outside to scold him for acting out of line. Tom questions what side he's on, noting his affiliation with the gang, before walking off. That night, Eugene receives a mysterious text from an unknown number. I'm coming for you. We cut to Tom in bed, watching YouTube videos on how to hack devices. By morning, he is officially Hacker Man, and he's ready to backtrack Eugene's trail. He tails them while cracking into Eugene's phone, and they lead him to a back alley where they meet with their boss, Cuts. From what Hacker Man can make out, they seem to be arranging some kind of deal. Meanwhile, Tom hides behind a garbage bin. Unfortunately for him, once Eugene and Cass leave Cuts' side, their path will intersect right where he's hiding. If he runs now, they'll see him. If he stays put, they'll find him. So, he sends them both a text. Behind you! They turn around but only see Cuts, and by the time they turn back around, Tom is gone. Truly Batman-esque in his disappearing prowess. We catch back up with Lucy, who steps out of her apartment for the first time since the attack. She can feel her heart thumping, waiting for someone to jump out at her, but nothing happens. Then, she sees a group of boys approaching her. Her heart leaps into her throat, but they pass by without incident. She composes herself, then we fast forward to later that night. Tom is in his room, spying on Eugene and his gang of bullies with his powers. He's having the time of his life watching them squirm as he blasts music and sound effects through their speakers. Also of note, Cass seems to be doing something suspicious with tissue paper. Weird. The next day at school, there's an assembly about good behavior and responsibility with technology. The principal is going on about how everyone should be doing their part to make sure technology doesn't distract them from their learning. And right on cue, a video of Cass from last night appears on the projector. The students are initially perplexed, but quickly burst out into a mixture of chaos and laughter when they realize what they're watching. The teachers scramble to shut it off as Cass runs away, embarrassed. Sometime later, Tom and Lucy are hanging out in her room. He recalls the incident with Cass when Lucy suddenly receives a text from an unknown number. She surmises that whoever it is, they must be the one behind the prank on Cass. Little does she know, it's Tom, who now decides his alter ego will be named I-Boy. I wish I was making this up. I-Boy vows to watch over her before asking if she has a boyfriend. No, she says. Any love interests? No, she says again, thinking there's nothing romantic going on between her and Tom. This prompts him to ask her out on a proper date. Attaboy. They go out for food and talk about their favorite TikTok dances or whatever teens are into now. When they return home, they run into Eugene and the rest of the gang. They corner Tom and suspect that he's the one that's been messing with them.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own story.
Things nearly get physical until all the gang members receive a text saying they have the wrong guy. Tom and Lucy get away as the boys fearfully look up, scanning for anyone watching them. Little do they know, Tom, or should I say I-Boy, okay actually I don't ever want to say that again, isn't done with them yet. Later at night, the boys spot a nice car practically begging to be broken into. They finesse their way through the door and all pile in, but before they can even get settled in, the car locks on its own. Oh no, Step Bros, we're stuck. What the? Cass's voice is shaky as he looks around at the other boys. How did that happen? I don't know. Eugene's eyes are wide as he stares at his hand on the locked door handle. I didn't even touch anything. Just then, the sound of the engine starting fills their ears. The car begins to shake and smoke starts billowing out from the engine. Suddenly, a voice emerges from the radio demanding answers about Lucy's attack. The boys admit they were behind it and ask what they can do to make it right, but the voice only wants to know who ordered them to do it. Cass begins to speak, but Eugene orders him to shut up. Cass listens. Though, they're running out of time. The car has begun catching fire around them, and it's clear that if someone doesn't start giving up names, they're all gonna die in a fiery blaze. It was Cuts, erupts Cass. Oh right, the guy they made a deal with earlier. Apparently, Lucy's brother declined to join the gang, and the attack was his punishment. Now, Tom is on the hunt for Cuts. At the man's apartment, we find him and two other guys inside. One of them is Danny. That can't be good. Suddenly, the TV is hacked. A video of someone urinating on Cuts' car appears. The three men rush out of the apartment to investigate. Tom seizes the opportunity and sneaks in. Once inside, he summons his powers to trash the place, throwing things around and destroying furniture. Once he's given them a proper mess to come home to, he rummages around for some food and finds some, rare Himalayan salt. That's gotta be worth at least $1 million in the black market. Mission success. Now armed with this rare Himalayan salt and a ludicrously powerful plan for vengeance, Tom knew what he had to do. He began by planting the salt in the houses of all the gang members. He then called the police, and one by one, they were rounded up. Even tough guy Eugene was taken down. In the aftermath, Tom looked upon the city victorious. The Salt Gang would never terrorize innocent people again, or so he thought. Following the arrest, Cuts calls up the real boss man, Elman, and fills him in. Elman warns Cuts that he needs to get to the bottom of this, or he'll cut him. Little pun there. I'm sorry. Later, Cuts wrangles up the gang members that were in jail and orders them to steal all the electronics in the neighborhood. As they're dismissed, Cuts pulls Cass aside and asks him if he would ever give up his name if he was in a bind. Ha, of course not. Now, of course, Cuts knows he's a lying snake in the grass, but he dismisses it for now and tells him that everything is gonna be fine. We proceed with a montage of electronics being stolen. Yes, even the PS5s. A true tragedy. Tom comes home one day to find the cops in his living room, questioning his grandmother. They too had been stolen from. Having not seen her grandson in quite a while, she takes the opportunity to
everybody,
question his recent
hello,
whereabouts.
Jay,
Tom
hello,
doesn't reveal that he's
Killer,
the super
hello,
cool new hero named
Pop,
I-Boy.
Cat,
Rather,
hello, Ray,
vaguely explains
hello,
that he's
you
trying
got
to do
clicked
something good
by
and create
BB,
change.
and
Then he leaves.
yeah,
Still
hello,
seeking
everybody.
answers, his grandmother finds
Welcome.
Danny and mentions that Tom's been acting rather odd lately and is rarely home. There's a suspicious look on Danny's face. Meanwhile, Tom is following Cuts by way of bike. His target seems to have stopped, but closer inspection reveals that
Looks
Cuts
like I got
simply
trade.
trashed the phone. Perhaps he decided it was time for an upgrade. Not one to run out of ideas, Tom looks up and taps into nearby helicopters for a better vantage point. With their help, he's able to continue his chase. Sometime later, he ends up at a dock where it appears a deal is taking place. There's some opposition ahead, so Tom quickly downloads some karate moves. But it doesn't stop there. He even downloads this guy's medical history, spotting a weak point in his leg. He strikes it, knocks him down, then puts him to sleep. Tom turns his attention to the container before him. Inside, he finds a ton of salt. In an instant, he is attacked by henchmen who beat him up and leave him crying on the ground. He takes quite a beating before inventing a new power for himself. That's right, he can now spontaneously make people's ears ring really loudly. The disorienting attack causes the henchman to back down and Tom runs off. The next morning at school, Lucy asks why he stood her up for a test yesterday. She's upset since they were supposed to take the exam together. Then, as they walk outside, they spot Cass. Just hanging around. What a goofball. Oh wait. Later that night, Tom is awakened by a sound, so he gets up to check things out. What he finds is the cold touch of a gun pointed at the back of his head. And that's where this whole adventure goes south. He's forced into the living room where Elman, the big bad boss, is waiting for him. The timid Tom just stands there petrified. Suddenly, his sassy grandma pulls up and curses out the baddies before getting knocked out. She's fine, I think. Luckily, Elman doesn't seem too keen on hurting Tom, at least not yet. You see, he reveals an odd suspicion he has. He believes Tom can control electronics with his mind. How he somehow figured this out? I don't know. Anyway, all Elman wants is for Tom to use his cybernetic powers to transfer money into his account. Brilliant. Of course, Tom declines, and that's when Elman shows him the true power of money. He brings out Danny and reveals that he's the one that tipped him off to the fact that Tom might be the one causing him trouble. This still doesn't explain how he knew about the powers, but whatever. He goes on to explain that Danny did this all for little pictures of the Queen, aka cash. He commands Danny to open his mouth, then stuffs it with money before dismissing the traitor. This display of dominance does little to sway Tom, so Elman
there you
brings
go,
up
guys.
another one of
Less
his
lag.
friends, Lucy. Oh no. Tom uses his powers and finds that she's been kidnapped. Left with no choice, he begins slowly transferring money to Elman's account. All the meanwhile, he's triangulating Lucy's location and sending it to the cops. All is going well until an observant Elman spots Tom's expression change. Turns out, he was reacting to the cops pulling up on Lucy's location. Elman has his goons check in on the situation. There's no response. Looks like they'll be taking this on the road. In the car ride over, Elman notes just how special Tom is, and then mentions that he knew his mom. Apparently, she had the softest hands in town, whatever that means. Meanwhile, the cops raid the warehouse Lucy's in, but she's being hidden by the goons. Eventually, the cops leave, and in their celebration, the boys lose sight of Lucy for just a moment. And a moment is all she needed to strap up. She points the Glock at the lads, who immediately have a change of tone. Suddenly, they're all nice and forgiving. Lucy forces them to apologize for attacking her, and they swear they'll never do wrong again. Soon after,
everyone hears us in the game or in live stream chat. In the stream, so it wouldn't count as a video.
To his knees and forced to continue transferring money. For some reason, he's unable to. Tensions escalate as Elman pushes him.
I'm recording the whole stream because
I always do that. If you could walk away right now, would you? Not the time to be delivering lame one-liners, bro. Anyway, Tom causes all the gang members' phones to explode. Somehow, this puts everyone to sleep, except for the final boss, Elman, who was far from defeated. After a short battle in the pouring rain, Tom is just about done for. But he whips out his ringing ear trick, creating a momentary state of confusion in his opponent that gives Tom just enough time to, get beat up again. Suddenly, Lucy appears at the door and shoots Elman. Just kidding, she misses every shot. As they face defeat once more, one more bullet miraculously appears in the magazine. She hurriedly aims at Elman, but only manages to nick his arm. He marches forward, but then Tom gets up. He grabs Elman's attention as he charges up his powers. With a violent blast, Tom lets out a surging wave of 5G energy. Elman is quite literally blown away by its incredible speed, power, and low latency. It takes a lot out of Tom too, who passes out. Later, he wakes up at the hospital, his grandma by his side once more. And just as before, she seems not so thrilled to see him wake up. Our riveting story ends with Tom and Lucy peering over the city and officially becoming a couple. Moral of the story? Aye boy. Stick to Android. Now, hit that subscribe button. My boy. Little kids are super obnoxious, but this is one step too far. But don't worry, they'll soon regret what they did. Meet Emily. She's a child welfare worker. She's been doing this job for 3 years and still loves it. It's the moments where she gets to help kids that makes her feel like she's changing the world, one family at a time. One day, Emily is sitting at her desk in her office, reviewing files, making phone calls, and cursing out unfit parents. Then, her boss, Wayne, who bears an uncanny resemblance to Megamind, walks in and places yet another case file on her desk. She protests, whining and wailing about how she's already buried in caseload. However, Wayne simply doesn't care. Emily looks down at the file and sees a picture of a little girl with a fierce gaze. She's hooked. She returns home from work, exhausted. She feeds her fish, the only friend she has, then checks her phone messages. There's a charming message from Doug, asking if she wants to meet up at a bar around the corner. She doesn't want to get too invested though, but he seems like the only game in town. She goes to the bar and they start talking. My god, it's Bradley Cooper. As you probably already know, my boy B. Coops is smooth, charming, and got just the right amount of facial hair. She realizes that this might be her chance to find some relief from all the stress she's been under lately. She knows just what kind of relief she wants, too. If only she wasn't so busy with work. On the topic of work, Emily later reviews her 39th case file. She brushes her finger over the photo of little Lily with her somber face and big eyes. What is her mother doing to her, she wonders. Emily heads out to Lily's house. After knocking twice, she hears the chain lock slide back and the door open just a crack. It's Lily's mother, looking like she just rolled out of bed in yesterday's clothes. Relatable. The session isn't today, she mumbles. Emily shakes her head, smiling carefully while pointing to the newspaper. Wow, she came prepared for this. Impressive. The woman blinks and sighs before opening the door wider, telling Emily to come in. She steps in and sees Lily peeking at her from upstairs. She calls for her to come down, and the little girl obliges. They gather in the living room for a meeting, but the husband is nowhere to be found. The mother claims he's not home, but soon Emily begins to hear weird slapping noises coming from the basement. Perhaps he's getting friendly with his right hand. She turns to the mother and asks again if the father can join them. Again, the mother makes an excuse. She claims that her husband is out at a bar with friends. Finding that one hard to believe, she presses on, asking for a third time. The mother submits and calls for her husband. The suspicious man comes up from the basement looking very angry. As he goes to sit down, Emily reaches out to shake his hand, but very thoughtfully he declines, given what that hand was doing. He sits down next to his wife but refuses to speak directly with Emily. Instead, he whispers into his wife's ear and has her relay his messages. When Emily asks why he won't speak directly with her, the wife explains that he does not wish to speak out of anger. As you can imagine, the meeting isn't very productive, ending with what I believe is a staring contest. Later, Emily complains to her boss about the creepy case, and he agrees that while the husband staring is weird, it's not a crime. She insists something is wrong, so the family is brought in. The husband is now more talkative and seems normal. Sadly, nothing too suspicious comes up, aside from his insatiable addiction to pineapple on pizza. Again, weird, but not a crime. As such, they're allowed to leave. Emily notices Lily alone and goes to chat with her at the water fountain. However, she forgot how to drink water. Look, we've all been there. Now that she's made a fool of herself, Lily is disarmed and open to conversation. It turns out that Lily's parents hate her and want to send her to hell. Talk about questionable parenting practices, am I right? Though, when Lily is put in front of a mic, she declines to repeat what she said, perhaps because of her lurking father. Feeling powerless, Emily turns to her longtime friend, Detective Mike. Though, he too can't help unless she can come to him with evidence of a crime. Channeling her inner stalker, Emily pays a visit to Lily's school. She sees her standing at the curb, waiting for the bus. Emily entices her over with the promise of candy. As they chat, Lily says something that takes Emily's breath away. What if I go missing? Will you find me? Emily has never been prepared for such a question. She wants to tell Lily everything will be okay, but given how creepy her dad is, she really doesn't know. Lily's got a blast. If she's late home, her parents get angry. Before she boards the bus, Emily hurriedly jots down her number on a paper and hands it over. Later at night, Emily lunges on the couch before attempting to booty call Doug. He doesn't pick up, so she leaves him a little message. In her very words, she's ready to bust it down, whatever that means. Suddenly, the phone rings. Emily excitedly answers, calling out Doug's name. Oh, it's Lily. This is awkward. The little girl whispers on the other line. She sounds panicked and like she's hiding. Apparently, her parents are on the hunt for her tonight. The situation is so scary that Lily, goes to sleep. Emily immediately springs into action and books it over to Lily's house. Along the way, she calls Detective Mike, who initially dismisses her wild accusations. Fortunately, she convinces him by loudly screaming. Meanwhile, the parents of the year find Lily and carry her unconscious body to the kitchen, where they have a special meal in store. They put it in an oven. The pair arrive at the house with Mike still being skeptical. As they approach, they hear Lily's screams. Mike is now a full believer and whips out his Glock to prove it. Mike and Emily break into the house. It's dark and they can detect the faint smell of a delicious pot roast coming from the kitchen. They make their way in, only to find that Lily is the main course. Emily breaks her out while Mike deals with the parents. He takes on the dad, but there's one problem. He's an MMA fighter. He catches Mike in a deadly choke. However, as a BDSM enthusiast, Mike is very used to those positions. As he deals with the dad, Emily looks after Lily. Suddenly, the mom emerges from behind, wielding a knife. She marches forward, but Mike pulls up, hits her with the atomic backhand, and saves the day. Everyone is now safe, and it looks like the creative chef of a father has a dislocated jaw. Brutal. Lily's parents are in court, where they are sentenced to psychiatric evaluation. Now you'd think this was the climactic finale, but this story is just getting started. We cut to Lily in the hospital where Doug is there. What a coincidence. Turns out he's a child therapist, meaning he's a therapist for children, not that he's a therapist who is also a child, right? Anyway, Emily pops in to check on Lily. She breaks the bad news about having to go to foster care. Lily doesn't want to go to a foster home. She wants to live with Emily, but Emily says, "No, I don't want that." Later, she drops off Lily at a shelter care center. Lily once more pleads with her not to leave her there and to take her home, but Emily states she ain't trying to be a mommy for real. But at home, Emily reflects on the situation. She thinks of how much better it would be if she could have cared for Lily herself, and then decides that's what she's going to do. Petition for temporary custody of Lily until a home is found for her. She wins the case. She visits Lily and tells her this is the last time she'll be visiting her. A wave of depression hits the little girl. Emily allows the despair to really sink in before explaining there will be no more visits because she's coming home with her. Hurrah! Later, Emily returns to Lily's old home to pick up her belongings. She's understandably nervous. After all, the place was a little dark and there was no one around to help her. All she could hear was her own footsteps echoing in the empty hallways. She walks into Lily's parents' room and finds religious symbols. Strangely, there are also 3 deadbolt blocks on the door. Peering down, we see that furniture had been moved around regularly, perhaps to barricade the door. But from what? We cut to Lily sitting in group therapy, intently listening to a boy, Diego, talk about his problems. Emily worked on his case too, but unlike Lily, didn't find him cute enough to adopt. Meanwhile, Emily chats with Doug. She reveals that Lily's parents had barricaded themselves from her, seemingly out of fear. Doug, with his big brain, explains that fear and hatred are the same pathology, so it makes sense. I, for one, am starting to suspect this little girl ain't what she seems. The next day at work, Emily is called into her boss's office for a meeting on a recent development. As she makes her way over, the entire office stares at her with gloomy eyes. At last, she finds Wayne, who reveals, last night, Diego killed his family. Emily is shook. She decides to visit Diego in prison. As she sat across from him, staring into his eyes, it was so hard to believe that he was the same boy who had just clapped his parents. But he confirmed that he did. He said it was just what had to be done. Something about not buying Roblox gift cards for him. Understandable. Nonetheless, this was very out of character for him. In her moment of weakness, Emily visits Doug to mourn her failure as a therapist. Doug agrees. In the background, Lily plays in the sand. We cut to her and Emily walking when Lily asks about Emily's mother. She never seems to talk about her, and Emily reveals why. She too had not the best parents. Her dad permanently left her milk, and her mom was crazy. The next day, Emily catches Lily with a photo in hand. She hides it under the pillow. Emily inspects it and finds it to be an old picture of her and her mom. She gently scolds Lily for going through her things before revealing her mother perished in a car accident. Back to business, Emily gets brunch with Detective Mike. As they munch their brunch, he asked her why it was she called Diego the night of the murder. "What are you talking about?" Emily asked, shocked. "I didn't call him." Mike reminds her that he was asking as a friend, not as a cop, but Emily still denies it. Mike follows Emily home and the pair confront Lily. Mike mentions that there was a phone call and Lily immediately denies being the one behind it. He didn't even ask that yet. Sus. He continues to probe, but Lily sticks to her guns. Then she randomly blurts out that she doesn't even play Roblox, further adding to the confusion. Outside, Mike and Emily chat. He's adamant she's lying, and even Emily is growing suspicious. She turns to open the door and finds Lily standing right there, peering into her soul. She innocently asks if Emily believes her. She says yes, with a smile, but her eyes betray her true feelings. Emily checks on Diego once more to clear things up. When Diego says he didn't get any call, Emily calmly tells him she knows he did, and that it came from her house. Diego looks at her as if she's the one behind what happened. Confusion and pain wash over him. Then he starts to freak out and collapses in fear. Later, Diego wakes up, and when asked if it was in fact Lily who called him, he says yes, but it was a man.
It was a man?
I know you're in shock, but I already said that. We cut to Lily eerily spinning in a chair as the audience is left wondering, is she secretly a man posing as a little girl? And if so, should she be allowed to compete in women's sports? Actually, I can't talk about this. Suddenly, Doug arrives and pulls Lily aside for a therapy session. He goes over the answers she submitted on a survey before their session, highlighting some peculiarities in her responses. "I'm not sure I believe you," he said as he stared deeply into her eyes. According to this, she's not afraid of the dark or being alone. Doug suspects she's hiding something. And what makes you think that? She replied, raising an eyebrow and leaning back in her chair. Because you're too nervous to admit it. She paused for a moment and leaned forward again, bobbling her head around while challenging Doug to answer the questions first. He hesitates, but eventually lets her in on his biggest fear. Taxes, just kidding, hornets. He once got stung so bad he ended up hospitalized. Lily responds with a smile before stating her own fear, herself. She explains that she's afraid of the bad thoughts she has. Bad thoughts about people. Like who? Doug asks. You. Doug is confused and apologetic, thinking that maybe he offended her in the past. Lily assures him it isn't anything he's done, but just the way he is. He can only gape as she explains herself with words far beyond her years. She calls him facile, and when he asks if she even knows what that means, she rattles off its definition as if it's no big deal. Facile, lacking in strength or firmness, weak, flimsy. She then adds that he's smug. He's left speechless as she reaches for the survey. Number 12. I worry about what's going to happen to me. She locks eyes with Doug. Yes or no? No, of course not, he responds. However, Lily believes that should be a yes. She sinks back into her chair and switches her nice girl personality back on, mentioning that her grades have gotten much better lately. The session ends and Doug approaches Emily. He looks like he's seen a ghost. He admits that he's talked to a lot of kids in his time, but none of them have ever made him feel the way Lily did. When Emily asks what he means by that, he pauses, then says, threatened. Doug heads out and enters an elevator. He says he'll call a specialist in the morning, but who knows if there will even be a morning for him. Doug is at home when he gets a call. He picks up and hears a voice on the other end. It's staticky and he can't make out what it's saying. And then suddenly, he feels something in his ear. He starts shaking his jaw to get whatever it is out of there. Then he goes to the bathroom to inspect himself in the mirror. He grabs a Q-tip and digs into his ear. After some searching, he pulls out a hornet. That makes no sense at all, and yet there it is. He flushes it down the toilet, but suddenly, more start coming out. And not just from his ears. They come out of his eyes, his nose, and any other hole you can think of. Doug collapses in fear, bashing his head in the process. Rip in peace. At the funeral, Emily is in shambles. Lily tries to show her some love, but Emily pulls away. The cops determine that Doug died due to death, and that it was self-inflicted. It seems the hornets were all in his mind. Emily confronts Mike about Doug's undoing, asking him to check her phone records to make sure Lily didn't call. Mike already checked. She didn't. Afterwards, Emily digs up footage of Lily's mom discussing the motives behind the whole oven thing. She claims Lily isn't really her daughter, but something else. According to the mother, all their family members started dying after Lily was born, but Lily couldn't get rid of her parents until she found someone new to latch onto. Suddenly, the lady turns to the camera, seemingly gazing right at Emily through time and space. Emily goes to the psych ward to visit Lily's parents. She walks in and sees the mom strapped down in her cell. She's shaking, screaming, and trying to put out a fire that only she can see. Clearly, she isn't in the mood to talk, so Emily goes over to the dad's cell. He's in a straitjacket, sitting calmly in a corner. Emily asks if he can help her. He thinks for a minute and then reasons that she must have lost a friend. She concedes that she did. That's why she's here. The man explains that when Lily was born, she brought something with her. Something older and destructive. The soul of a demon. Cut to Mike sitting outside his church when Emily approaches him. She reveals her belief that Lily's parents were right all along and that Lily is something far worse than a child. A demon child. Mike is shocked at this statement and tells Emily to get some help. Emily challenges him, noting that while he believes in there, he doesn't believe out here. She gestures towards the church building behind him. Mike gets mad initially, but quickly realizes she's kinda got a point. Some time passes before Mike calls Emily over to his place one night. When she gets there, he reveals that Lily did in fact make a call to Doug the night of his demise, but it was from Emily's cell phone, not the home phone, and that's why it took him a couple extra days for the records to come through. Emily reaches for her phone, but it's gone. Weird. Mike also received a recent call. He plays it back. It's Lily's voice, distorted and echoey, like it's coming out of a tin can, mocking him and laughing maniacally. Mike is now a believer and is ready to introduce this demon to American
Kyle.
freedom. Guns.
Hello.
Mike puts on his hunting gear and grabs
Hello,
his shotgun.
everybody.
Meanwhile, Emily goes home to find Lily, but when she reaches the bedroom,
Do you have
she's gone.
flexibility to change your
Mike walks
bed?
through the parking lot and spots an
I
angry
got
dog mean-mugging him.
almost
Undeterred, he continues
1.2
onwards to his car.
billion in
Inside,
your
as
bed.
he turns the key in the ignition, he notices a pair of angry eyes staring at him from the back seat. A dog lunges at him. In this moment, he can't help but think to himself, what the dog doing? But this is no time for philosophy. Mike violently turns the shotgun over and blasts away. We immediately come back to Emily, who hears her phone under Lily's bed. It's Wayne on the line. He informs Emily that Get this, Mike just shot himself in the face. Then, Emily hears music blasting in the background. She runs over to the living room to find Lily watching Ludacris bust it down. I'm not even joking this time. In a fit of rage, Emily picks up the TV and throws it on the ground. She ain't done yet. She smacks the popcorn out of Lily's hands. The little demon girl brushes herself off as she prepares to handle this crazy Karen. She shouts, with her face deforming into that of a Snapchat filter. Emily runs off to her room, barricading herself. As she whimpers, the door begins to violently bend before ultimately shattering. Lily tiptoes her way in, acting all nice. She peers down to find Emily is now hiding under the bed, like a child. She calls her a silly pumpkin before counting down to 3. Emily is frozen in place. Time's up. Lily creepily crawls her way in, but Emily begs her to stop. Lily agrees on one condition. She wants Emily to love her just like Emily wanted from her own mom. Okay, bet. Later that night, Emily apologizes while handing Lily some tea with a special ingredient. Believing that she's now fast asleep, Emily douses the house with gasoline and sets it ablaze. She sits in the living room accepting her fate. Then she spots her fishy, aka her only friend. This inspires her to live another day, so she packages the fishy up and goes outside. The firemen arrive and tend to the scene. As Emily breathes a sigh of relief, she spots someone in the corner of her eye. Lily. She walks over and just says, "That was me." After, they're ordered to follow the police downtown. Initially, Emily does, but then makes a sudden turn. She slams on the gas, much to the dismay of little Lily. The girl begins to distort Emily's mind, transporting her back to her childhood accident. Emily looks in the mirror and sees herself as her mother. Then, a truck appears directly ahead. But Emily's will is strong. She barrels through the illusion and triumphantly mocks Lily. Now, the shoe is on the other foot. It's Lily who's drenched in fear. Talking about drenched, they take an aquatic departure. Underwater, Emily battles Lily until she goes full Diablo mode. Victorious, she swims up. Oh wait, okay, yeah, just keep kicking? Beautiful, champ. Good job. She makes it to the surface and looks on towards the horizon, wondering how many years she's gonna be in prison. Moral of the story, Demon Slayer was a decent anime.
Yeah.
This old man can clap you in 19 seconds. That's even faster than me. Usually I make it to about 30. Robert McCall gets up early to work at Home Mart. Duty McCalls. I'm sorry. I've just set a new record for the fastest lame joke. McCall has OCD that doesn't really affect his life, but makes him a bit special in a different way. Robert is respected and well-liked amongst his coworkers. He has lunch with his friend and coworker Ralphie, whom he is in the process of helping lose weight. Ralphie eats healthy vegan, gluten, and taste-free sandwiches with chips. What can I say? We're all human. I, for one, put Nutella in my tuna sandwich. Delicious. McCall reminds Ralphie he's supposed to lose weight for his test to become a security guard. Aimed for progress, not perfection. If only the progress of eating chips wasn't that good. Most nights, McCall can't sleep, so he goes to a local 24/7 diner, where he reads books and drinks tea he brings from home. Man grinds and saves like a hustler. He is now reading The Old Man and the Sea. A young and sussy girl interrupts Robert with her ironic remarks about the book. She suggests the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki and Get Rich or Die Trying rap album by famous music artist 50 Cent. What can I say? The girl knows how to grind. She's too intelligent to learn anything and goes back to her night of hustling again. At work, a couple of McCall's young colleagues ask him what he used to do before this fantastic job at Home Mart. He says he was Michael Jackson's dancer and even performed a little dance for them. Shake it, baby. He sold the story to me. Robert returns to the diner that night and runs into the same girl. She notices he's reading a new book. Robert tells her how the old man one ended. Spoiler, it was a waste of a delicious sashimi. A limo pulls up from the diner as they enjoy small talk. The girl gets a call from her pimp, Slavy. He tells her she has a client, the man in the limo. She tells Slavy she doesn't want to work with this client because he's a pig, but Slavy ignores her feelings. Harsh. The car door opens and reveals a whale waiting for the girl. Let's hope he's a crypto whale. Just make sure you're on top and you'll be fine. Reluctantly, the girl goes outside and joins him. The next night, Robert finds the girl at the diner with a bruise on her face. Hope her insurance pays for traumas at the workplace. Suddenly, she decides to join Robert at his table. She introduces herself as Terry, later revealing her real name as Alina. Nice one, Robert. Cracked her story without any effort. She hands him a CD she recorded of herself singing, hoping to get his opinion later. Probably thinks he's an undercover take Heath. Detective Alina aptly deduces that Robert has been recently widowed and still feels lost without his wife. Hit that on the spot. Robert confirms and reveals that his reading habits are inspired by a reading challenge his wife couldn't finish. 100 books everyone should read. Nice one. Resembles my own challenge. 100 terrible movies no one should watch. This one's actually pretty good though. Robert made it to 91. Keep it up, bro. I think I've passed that many uploads at this point. The book club leaves the diner, talking and walking for a while. Then a car pulls up to them as they're about to part ways for the night. It's Slavy and his driver Tevi. Slavy gets out and slaps Alina. Robert attempts to intervene but is called off by Alina. Plus, Tevi has a gun in his hand. Come on, bro, you have 9 books left. Go home. Slavy walks over to Robert, hands him a card for his business, and suggests he picks another girl. Or better, go for the girls at the library. That one's a tip from me. For a few days and nights, Robert doesn't see Alina and seems worried. One night, the diner's manager tells him Alina's in the hospital after being beaten badly. Don't worry, Rob, she has great insurance. But McCall goes there to check and finds a mess instead of Alina's face. He also sees another girl, Mandy, who's crying uncontrollably. Tell her about that reading story and she'll cry for the rest of the week. Robert observes from a distance. A man watches 2 girls from a distance and instantly enjoys it. Potential title. Mandy later walks by Robert crying. She gets a cup of coffee but it overflows, and Rob comforts her because there will be no sad sussy ladies on his watch. He asks about Alina, and Mandy reveals that Slavy hit her, and she hit him back. Brave move, but not the smartest one. Judging by the current situation, the smartest move would be to change city or stayed. Mandy says that Slavy once threw battery acid in some girl's face, and keeps her around as a reminder to the others. Well, my suggestion is even more solid now. He treats his girls like merchandise. Well, what would you expect from a pimp? Robert ponders the situation for a few days. What should I eat for dinner? What book should I read? Those would be good questions to consider. But our man decides to act in the name of a sussy girl he talked with once. Simp. Using the card Slavy gave him, Robert goes to a restaurant where Slavy and his men are hanging out. Vodka and Russian rap. Classic. Robert enters the office suite above the restaurant with an envelope containing 9.8 grand. All the pension money he grinded so hard for. And all for Alina's freedom. Bad idea. The boys laugh at Robert and Slavy explains that he makes so much money from Alina that 9.8 grand could only buy her for 1 month. Okay then. He then laughs at Robert and suggests he choke the chicken about 9.8 thousand times instead. And by that time, Alina wouldn't be worth so much, and he could consider freeing her. You know, maybe that's not such a bad idea. After so much self-exercise, I would definitely forget about any girls for some time. So Robert takes the money back and almost walks out. Oh, almost. Suddenly, he decides to stay and lock the doors. Ouch, guess it's jerking time. After carefully observing the men and calculating their chances, he sets the timer on his watch and moves into action. He grabs one man's arm and causes him to shoot Slavy in the throat, jabs a shot glass into that man's eye, and stabs the third man with his own knife. He then proceeds to get a corkscrew and repeatedly stab Tevi, sticking it under his chin and finishing him off. 18 seconds. Not bad. I thought my 30 seconds was pretty good, but the girls aren't so impressed. McCall goes to Slavy's side. Who are you? All that Slavy manages to ask before death. Robert apologizes and goes home. Apology forcibly accepted, I guess. There, he cleans himself up and actually sleeps all night for once. All the man needed for sleep was to kill a bunch of Russians. Maybe Uncle Joe has insomnia too. That would explain the current world situation. Or maybe Rob took Slav's self-exercise suggestion. At work, Ralphie comes to Mr. Miyagi and thanks him for all the training. He managed to lose weight. Following the murders, a nice Russian guy named Teddy arrives in Boston to investigate what happened to Slavy and his boy band. He also teams up with a group of corrupt cops. So far, everything shows it was a gang hit from a rival mob. Teddy calls himself the new boss in town and schools the rest of the Gopniks. Listen to the man, he's got a suit on. At work, Rob notices Ralphie isn't in. Ralphie called it quits. Come on, bro, eat some delicious tacos. It happens to everyone. Why immediately quit? Robert visits a restaurant that Ralphie's mother owns. Ralphie helps her after a fire breaks out. Robert stays and offers his help. What a man this guy is. A dedicated man of society during the day, a mafia killer at night. Meanwhile, Teddy is driven by one of the crooked cops, Frank Masters, to the workplace of an Irish gangster named John Looney to continue his search for the killer. John hate speaks on Teddy and all Russians in general. News channel makes people crazy. You should be more tolerant these days, says Teddy, and hits John with an ashtray while Frank kills John's security. Teddy continues to beat John's face until the man goes unconscious. Meanwhile, Teddy finds out about Alina and questions Mandy. She says she doesn't know her that well. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Later, Teddy gets a call from his boss, Mr. Pushkin, and demands results. All Teddy can say now is that the killings were spontaneous, and the killer is a sort of John Wick. Now we see two dirty cops, Ramar and Peterson, eating at Ralphie's mother's restaurant. They squeeze the money from her for protection and claim that there will be another accident if the payment is late next week. Darn it, I thought the times of corrupt cops squeezing the money from people had passed. Isn't it the government's problem now? They leave the place where Robert is waiting for them. Oh, Mr. Justice here. Insomnia
Okay,
again?
chat,
He says he'd like to report a crime, but the douchebag cops brush him off and tell him to call 911. So Rob does, calling them on their personal phone. If even cops can't defend their personal
Wait,
information,
what?
we're doomed. McCall plays a video of dirty cops extorting a convenience store clerk. They confess to starting the fire at Ralphie's mother's restaurant. The cops don't like the situation and hold Robert at gunpoint, but McCall quickly shows that they weren't even past the security guard test. Robert tells them they can either give the money back or the video will hit the news stations. Honestly, just post it on Twitter and watch them get canceled. The cops decide to return the money and Ralphie gets back to work. Later,
Wait,
Teddy
what?
visits Mandy. All other girls said they were close with Alina. This is what happens when you lie too obviously. It makes her confess about the night.
Wait, what? I don't know if he's in my stream. Wait. Unless it was... No, but he probably doesn't even know Jay. He's going to just he's going to spawn a merchant and we're going to be like, what? No. Wait. Is he actually in the disc? No, wait, no. I'm going to check the Discord. No, I don't know. Halos. Oh, wait. Halos. It's you! I was watching your video. Wait, what? I was watching your video with the live stream. Wait. Wait, I was watching his video.
On the table for you.
Okay. No. No, am I getting trolled? Am I getting trolled? No. Wait, if you're the real one, I just DM'd you on Discord. Wait, if this is the real one, he'll respond to me on Discord. What? Oh no. Respond to me in Discord. You said he couldn't spawn it. Bro. I don't know if this is actually for real. that to me, I'm doing this to him. Nah, bro. You can't flex on me that hard, boy. You can't flex on me that hard, boy. Try me. You can't flex on me that. Bro, he's gonna pull out like oh. No, mystery merchant's code's probably curse. My stream. I want you to know if he's on my stream or not. Cause the coolest part is if he just types in chat. Yo, where's the copper egg? Copper egg is in the orange building. No, like, yeah. No. Is he in my stream? Nah, yeah, he's not on my stream. You're not in my stream. Unless you're on a alt. And just confused. Bruh. Oh, he got those pets. He got those. Yeah. He only got the basic ones. Probably just got on. That's the way to be honest, yeah. That would be the most logic, because I don't think a YouTuber like him would be in my stream. Yeah, because I don't think a streamer like him would be in my live stream. We're just having a face-to-face, to be honest. He's going to be doing like, unless... Wait. Bruh. Bruh. He's on my stream. Oh. I had small gains in my streams. Now, this dude, come on. What's my luck? Small gains. No, you. My lord. Yeah, I'm screenshotting this. I screenshot small games. Yeah, that's the real Halos. Yeah, that's the real one. Bro. Lucky ammo. Yeah, I'm screenshotting that. Oh! Bro, if you just like... Let me see your pet. Let me see your pets. Let me see your pets. Hey, I'm gonna get flex on. I don't care. Shit. Sheesh. Wait, what? Wait. What? My God. My God. Get out. You. Shout out to Halos. My man just got me this. Wait. Dude. Hey! Halo's gonna hook up everyone in the server. Halos. Dude, we need to... Bro. He just gets in the game, give me to them, like, okay, I'm gonna go, see ya, and then just left. Bro. Shout out to Pop Cat. Like, he just walks in my live stream, like, just chilling, and then just dips. Is he even in my stream anymore? Bro, I gotta go eat lunch. Bro. Nah, I'm going... Bro, he's gonna join back in the game while I'm in middle of lunch, and they're just gonna give everyone, like, the best pets in the entire game. I'm just gonna be like, come on! I'm gonna eat. And if that happens, well... I deserve that. Yes. To go eat. Yeah, I'm just gonna go eat. If he somehow just comes in my game again, and then just... Wait, what the joke? Nah, I don't... Wait, I'm gonna check. Is he... He's not even... at least he's not in my live stream anymore. If he still is, I was going to be really confused. I gotta go eat, but, I'm really confused. What's in this merchant? Oh. Yeah, I gotta go eat, chat. I'm gonna equip all my, like, massive pets. It just shows as a normal one. Yeah, I'm gonna equip all my huge pet, like, massive pets. Bro. Best loadout ever. Bro. We got a gold. Nah, we just need like a normal version. And then we got gold, dark matter, rainbow. Screeny? Screeny, okay. We need to do a Screeny. AFK. Alright. I gotta go AFK chat. I'll play some music for you guys while I go AFK.
hold on. Alexa, turn on the kids' bedroom lights.
Okay.
Absolutely. I can have that done in an hour.
Scotiabank's preferred package has unique rewards for unique people like Nina. With an annual card fee waiver for the first year, she's been able to take base lessons. And unlimited Interac e-transfer transactions makes paying easy. Visit scotiabank.com/preferred300. Scotiabank. You're richer than you think.
dinosaur stuff. The next, camels.
Llamas.
Llamas. So save money shopping back to school on Amazon. You sure that's on a camel?
Yep.
Whatever you say.
It's great to see all our friends back at Montana's. It's Ribfest, so come on and join us for our legendary all-you-can-eat ribs. Hickory smoked in-house daily, sauced, and fire-grilled just for you. Montana's, the grill is calling.
Hello, chat. Hello.
She saw Alina at the hospital, and she talks about a mysterious but kind black man who also visited her, but he never revealed his name and no one ever saw Alina again. Well, that's enough information. Thank you. I'll go now, says Teddy and leaves. Not. He instead strangles her to death. Naturally, of course. Later, we see Robert playing baseball with his coworkers. Then Ralphie shows up in a security guard uniform. Hooray! Task completed. Guess those tacos were vegan. Meanwhile, Teddy finds video evidence of Robert going into the restaurant, but none of him ever leaving. Saucy. At work, Robert sees Jenny, a cashier, for a refund. He notices she's dealing with a man who silently commits a robbery at gunpoint. Whoa, at the grounded shop? That's dope. Robert calmly comes over and gives him the money. The crook also wants Jenny's ring, which was her mother's. Okay, bro, you took your $16 and that wasn't enough? Robert observes the man as he did with the Russians. Guess the tiger is getting ready to strike, but he doesn't since children entered the store and could get harmed. So he hands the ring to the thief. Then Rob follows the man outside and looks at the car plates on his ride. The cops say this was part of a string of robberies from the same man. Robert then goes to get a sledgehammer off the rack. The next day, Jenny discovers her ring in the register, while Robert returns the sledgehammer to the rack after wiping it clean. I think I see some connection between those absolutely different events, but maybe it's just me. Pretending to be a detective, Teddy visits Robert. The latter immediately understands what's happening and answers his questions with his prepared answers. The man trained for this. Teddy leaves feeling sussy about Robert, making Robert take some action. Teddy tries digging into Robert, but everything shows Rob is a 9-to-5 normie and not involved with Slavy's death. Teddy feels that everything they know about McCall is fiction. Maybe Robert simply took kung fu classes. A wannabe worker enters the cafe where Robert enjoys his book. Robert breaks his character in seconds. Teddy, Frank, and some others wait outside. The man takes out a gun and walks to Rob. Suddenly, a truck pulls up in front of the diner, obscuring Teddy's view from his vehicle. He doesn't get to see how Robert kicks the worker in the stomach with his book. killing him by slamming his head down on the table and breaking his neck, clean as a whistle. He then kills the lights, walks out of the diner, casually walks in front of Teddy and his boys in the car, snaps a photo of them, and then walks away. Based. Gangsters follow Robert home. Teddy demands taking him alive. Always a wrong decision when you hunt down John Wick material. Although Rob is already a bit wounded. No worries, the clock should have lagged behind. At home, Rob boils some honey to cure the wound while the gangsters silently enter his home. They stealth into his apartment only to reveal that McCall is in another condo, watching them with hidden cameras. Ha, trick them. Can't blame the man. He likes taking photos and watching. Relatable. Robert planted some evidence. Pills for air sickness, tickets to Bangkok, and an open web link about the top 10 things you need to know before dating a ladyboy. But Teddy doesn't buy the story. He feels Robert is watching, and instantly enjoys it. Then Teddy orders them to find Robert, or he'll bring people who will. Rob leaves town only to visit his old friends Brian and Susan Plummer. They obviously have a history of cooperating with some intelligence agency. Those feds. Can you smell them? McCall asks about Teddy and his Russian friends. While Susan gathers information, Brian and Robert discuss McCall's car bomb accident. Everyone, including Brian and Susan, believed Robert was dead. Oh nice, faking deaths. I heard they charged 5 years for this, but not in this state, and not the ex-agents, I guess. When she returns on the Uber Fly, she says that the men Robert killed were in the Russian mafia led by Vladimir Pushkin, a high-profile and untouchable oligarch. Teddy, whose real name is Nikolai, is the dog Pushkin sends when something needs to be dealt with. Ramar and Peterson were Pushkin's people, found dead a couple days earlier with their testicles shoved into their mouths. Classic Russians. They call this 2 shots of a white bear back in Moscow. Susan warns Robert that these men won't stop until he and everyone he cares about dies. Love those moments. Let me assume what happens next. Robert kills his mafia boss only to find out he is connected with a bigger mob boss who's also associated with the president of Russia, who is also connected with the president of the US. So should you go straight to Donald Trump? I mean Uncle Joe? Anyway, Susan asks why Robert went into all this crap for Alina. Because I can, says Robert. Susan sees the man his wife Vivian loved is not gone, so she blesses him and the man leaves. Robert finds Frank Masters and traps him in his car, which he has rigged with a hose from the tailpipe. Give the man some info about Pushkin or die in a car. A pretty boring death, so the man breaks. Pushkin was a classic Russian writer born in the year 1799. No, not that Pushkin. Frank finally understands what Robert needs and takes him to a warehouse. There, Russians count and stash millions of dollars in cash. You know, something toy review channels make in minutes. There, Robert makes the gangsters surrender with a classic "let me see your gun" trick. He ties them up with all the dirty money for the cops to find and frees all the workers, giving them a departing bonus from Pushkin's money. Well, what do you know? Now Russians rise up the American economy? Or maybe it was like that all the time. He handcuffs Frank and compels him to report, compelling him to be a good cop one last time, or the first time, and give up his stash. McCall finds Frank's safety deposit box and finds some money, passports, and a USB stick. You don't want to know what's in it. Teddy invites a team of assassins from Russia to help him track down and take out McCall. No need, he's right here. Oh wow, those guys work fast. Robert sits in front of Teddy and offers him a chance to stop hating before Robert takes out the entire Democratic Party. Russian Mafia. Teddy refuses because he's a psycho with no feelings. Even after the latter told the heartbreaking history of Teddy's, aka Nikolai's, childhood. It would make everyone cry, but not this psychopath. Robert leaves the table for Nikolai to consider the chance. At home, Robert checks the USB with all the info about Pushkin's operations. Oh, that's what was on it. Okay, that's not so bad. It also reveals everyone on Pushkin's payroll. Cops, deputies, politicians. Told you, goes all the way straight to the White House. Robert sends the information anonymously to the detective in charge of the warehouse bust. He also finds one of Pushkin's oil tankers and blows it up, along with several trucks and a warehouse. Cool guys don't look at explosions moment. Meanwhile, Teddy is working too, finally finding a pressure point on Robert. Teddy's boys take Homemart employees hostage, threatening that they will kill them unless Frank meets Teddy where he blew up the tanker. Our man has 29 minutes to come, so he takes a bus. Classic Robert. Not all ex-agents take Uber Fly. My tax money is saved. The Mafia tracks his cell phone and waits for Robert to casually come out from the bus. The snipers check the bus. No one there, only a phone. It was a trick from the beginning. The Russians are furious and want to kill one of the hostages they keep in Homemart when suddenly, In the End by Linkin Park plays. Classic. Too bad I can't play it because copyright. One of the gangsters takes Ralphie to find the music source and is killed by Robert. Reminds me of how you had to throw stones and whistle in Assassin's Creed to trick the villains and kill them all one by one. NPCs are so stupid. The other hostage taker gets called away. Another trick from Robert. The man mastered Russian and Duolingo. Robert asks Ralphie to take all the hostages and leave the place. Teddy and his other assassins come to Homemart. They try to find Robert, but he's moving like a shadow and steadily kills them one by one. Batman moment. Bad idea to catch him in his workplace. The man grinds here for hours. He hangs Dan Bilzerian's struggles on the downfall of his career and stabs another one through the neck. And yes, that really is Dan Bilzerian. Teddy manages to wound Robert. The shadow barely escapes. He UK drills the brains of the gangster and fights the biggest bad guy with the cool mustache. Rob gets wounded again but manages to finish the deal. Ralphie returns to help Robert but is shot in the leg, and they say a security guard is a sleepy job. Ralphie turns the electricity back on. Robert lures one of the remaining bad guys to the break room. It's lunchtime. Who ordered freshly baked propane gas? Boom! Nikolai remains all alone, like a stranger in Moscow. Teddy finds Ralphie and almost shoots him when badass McCall comes out with a stud Ramset gun. He shoots Teddy with it several times until he walks up to him and shoots him in the throat. That's how we roll in America. Teddy asks, "Who are you?" Cool guys don't answer. They watch you die silently. Well, the night shift is done. It's time to go home. 3 days later, Robert shows up in Pushkin's Moscow residence bathroom. McCall repeatedly turns the lights on and off and runs the sink water until it overflows. Pushkin enjoys small talk with the stranger offering him money, but Robert disappears. Pushkin retrieves his weapon from the sink and calls for his guards when he realizes McCall has cut the electrical wires and left them on the wet floor. Water, electricity, you know the drill. Robert escapes, leaving a few more dead Russians because he can. McCall returns to Boston, bringing home groceries. Alina stalks him. The girl looks much better now. She reveals she's gotten a real job, not the influencer type, and has started to do some reading. Oh no, another book club member. She also found an envelope with almost $10,000 inside. Our bro simply cannot stop donating to young girls without the benefits. She thanks McCall for what he did and kisses him on the cheek. Exactly what you get for $10,000 these days. Robert resumes his ordinary OnlyFans subscriber life, only now he finds a new purpose. Every city needs a Batman. One night at the diner, he gets a message asking for help. Yes, but only if you are a young girl apparently. Moral of the story, reading is a pretty good habit. This is what happens when you let a multi-billionaire implant chips in your brain. Don't worry, it's just a movie. Wait a minute. The film begins in the Middle East, where a helicopter assaults a stone stronghold with some cool text transitions. Inside, 4 spies interrogate this guy. But he low-key had a grenade on him and goes kamikaze, so one of the spies has to sacrifice himself. Meet the survivors. We got Harry, aka Galahad, Merlin, and Lancelot. They belong to a secret intelligence agency known as Kingsman. This was a test to determine their new member.
Welcome to Kingsman, Lancelot.
Quite the warm welcome, I must say. In London, Harry visits Michelle, his savior's widow. He offers his good vibes and prayers and a Medal of Valor engraved with a number, which she can use any time to call in a favor. Just remember,
Oxfords, not rogues.
That's the secret code word. Despite the kind gesture, the grieving widow rejects. I don't want your help. I want my husband back. Harry turns to her child instead, who introduces himself as Eggsy. Unfortunate. Anyway, he gives the medal to Eggsy and reminds him to take care of his mother. Then, we smoothly transition from medal to snow globe and fast forward to 17 years later. This time, we're in Argentina. Luke Skywalker, some dude named Professor Arnold, is tied up. These guys' boss apparently wants to chat with him. To keep him comfy, the henchmen offer him a drink. A 62 Dalmore. Goddamn, these boys be drinking good. Oh look, Lancelot. He stylishly eliminates the henchman and proudly declares he's here to rescue the professor, though not before a celebratory drink. Thank you, sir. Though, as he takes a deliciously expensive sip, another visitor arrives. Looks like it's time to split. You see what I did there? Yeah, he got split in two. By prosthetic legs, no less. This is Gazelle, but don't be fooled by the name. She's no prey. She takes some sheets to cover the bodies before opening the door for her boss, Samuel L. Jackson, aka Valentine. He's a bit squeamish.
I see one drop of blood, that is me done.
A little bit of foreshadowing. Valentine apologizes for the mess, but assures Professor Arnold that he'll find out who Lancelot works for, and then they can be the best of friends. After, we cut to Harry arriving at a tailor shop called Kingsman, one of their bases of operations. He proceeds to the dining room, and at the head of the table is Alfred. No, seriously, he's also named Alfred in this movie. Anyway, all the agents are present for their Zoom meeting. They toast to Lancelot's memory and immediately prepare for the selection process for a replacement. Each one of them will be sending in a candidate. Merlin then arrives with information on Lancelot's last mission. Arthur explains that he was investigating mercenaries that were experimenting with biological weaponry. First Zoom, now this? It's all sounding very familiar. Merlin details previous incidents starting in Uganda where bath salts were found in a gorilla-based water supply which led to rage, cannibalism, and multiple fatalities. We also learn that Professor Arnold is a climate change doomsayer and a pusher of Gaia theory.
The world healing itself or some such.
More importantly, he's alive and working like nothing's happened. Arthur gives the mission to Galahad and reminds him of his membership proposal and to pick a
more suitable candidate this time.
Harry is irritated. It seems Arthur wasn't keen on his previous candidate. You know, the man who saved his life. He defends the late man's honor, stating that he had as much Kingsman material as any of them, more so. Arthur rejects the sentiment. Well, Arthur, you're a snob. Harry leaves, remarking that the world is changing. We cut to Eggsy, all grown up and wearing his dad's Medal of Honor. Unfortunately, his mother, Michelle, is with this douchebag, Dean. Talk about going from hero to zero. Dean asks Eggsy to buy something at the store while him and his friend keep his mom company. Later at the pub, Eggsy hangs out with his friends. They wonder why his mom doesn't do better than Dean, noting that she do be kinda thick though. No offense, bruv. Okay, I think Eggsy agrees. Then, he vows to smash Dean's face in. But his friend points to Dean's buddies, who happen to be there, remarking that they'll clap his cheeks. The goons hear this and get pissed. Oi mate, you think you can talk shit? Okay, I can't do this voice. Anyway, Eggsy apologizes and the gang walk off. However, Eggsy got some quick hands.
Why are we walking?
They have fun in their new whip while the owner can do nothing but look on. Cry about it, which he does to Dean over the phone, while suddenly a reverse police chase ensues. Turns out Eggsy is an absolute Chad driver and a good human being. He'd rather crash the car than hit a kitty. Eggsy urges his friends to run for it before crashing into the police car. The next day, he's interrogated, but he's no snitch. Respect. He asks for a phone call and the inspector remarks, "Better call your mom and tell her you'll be late for dinner." 18 months late. Okay, that was pretty good. Though, instead of his mother, Eggsy calls the number on the medal. The call connects, but as he explains the situation, he gets cut off. But then, he remembers a secret line.
Oxford's not brogues.
Your complaint has been noted. And just like that, Eggsy is free and exits the station. Harry greets him and offers him a ride home. Bro, who are you? I'm the guy that gave you your medal. Oh, and your dad saved my life. Later, the two share a drink at the pub. Eggsy probes into Harry's past and his connection to his father. Sorry mate, that's classified. However, he shares minor details about how his father saved him and those around him. So, I owe him. Your father was a brave, good man. Harry proceeds to chastise Eggsy, suggesting his father would be disappointed in him. He's read his files, and Eggsy has quite the list of accolades. High IQ, great school performance, but it all went down the drain. Petty crime, never had a job, playing too much video games. Relatable? To be fair, Harry, there is a labor shortage. He counters that Eggsy even gave up on his hobbies. He was a prolific gymnast with Olympic team potential. Eggsy blames growing up around Dean, which made him pick up different hobbies. But Harry dismisses this as just another excuse, adding that Eggsy quit the Marines halfway through training. Yeah, cause my mom didn't want to lose me too.
Judging people like me from your ivory towers with no thought about why we do what we do.
Eggsy emphasizes that they'd live just as well as the snobs if given the same silver spoon up their bums. Then, the intense debate gets interrupted by Dean's goons, who waltz in like they own the place. Harry tries to politely shoo them off, but only incurs further threats. Eggsy insists he leaves, and he does, until the goons lob a nasty insult in his way. Hey, you're stupid, or whatever. Harry decides to give the lads a lesson.
Manners maketh man.
Time for some cool action sequences. Harry beats the living daylights out of these fools, through a combination of ninja skills and a few high-tech spy tools. All the while, Eggsy watches on with amazement. Harry blocks bolts using his umbrella and finally takes out the shooter. Pew! It's okay, go to sleep. Harry finishes his drink and reveals he had to blow off some steam. A friend of mine died. He knew your father too, actually. Anyway, you must go to sleep now too. Whoa, Harry, relax. Eggsy swears he's not a snitch, never been a snitch, and never will be. Harry confesses he agrees with Eggsy about the snobs, but adds that there are exceptions. He leaves him, wishing him the best of luck. Later, we catch some news at home where we learn that Valentine is an eccentric billionaire. Basically,
I think I might end the live stream
Eggsy
here.
arrives home and Dean greets him with a knuckle sandwich.
So
Who was
yeah.
that old geezer you were with at the bar? Eggsy keeps quiet, further reinforcing that he ain't no snitch. This prompts Dean to lose his shit, threatening to chop up Eggsy. Thankfully, Harry put a bug on him and has been listening the whole time. Suddenly, his voice can be heard within the house.
That's gonna be it for the stream, guys. Hope you guys
have him jailed.
like and subscribe.
Harry instructs Eggsy to visit him at the
I
tailor
just
shop.
gotta say,
He leaves,
have a good
only to be
day.
blocked by Dean's goons.
And
but that's okay. Don't forget he was
always
a gymnast,
remember
which means he's great at parkour. Very cool.
to
Eggsy
subscribe
enters
to
Kingsman
me.
where
Nah,
Harry
I'm
is
joking.
waiting, and
Always
proceeds to give him
remember,
a tour of the
join
dressing room while
small
offering some
games.
perspective.
They're
I see a young
amazing.
man
Join
with
it.
potential
But
who
yeah,
is loyal.
other than